that they know women speaking out about this stuff changes the cultural narrative, and it makes the migrants no longer the innocent, downtrodden masses that they can take advantage of people's emotions to justify bringing into the country. So what they are the most afraid of is women speaking out and sharing their stories about being, like assaulted or harassed or anything like that. Because if they do that and then people see that this is happening, the entire foundation of the lie that they've created falls apart. That's the reason why. And they're terrified of that foundation cracking. And so as soon as people realize that actually, no, these people are not, these super misunderstood groups of people, and they're actually, in some cases, bad actors, not all of them, obviously, but some of them are. And if you don't hold the ones that are bad accountable, people will assume that they're all bad. And that's what's happening.
These big butch coppers being so insecure.
No, arrest the police who help the gangs now. As I said, I think that eventually there will be enough people in the UK that are tired and upset about this. And I do think that what will happen is that the anti-immigrant sentiment will become so large that it will create a majority inside of the government, and they will be able to enact policy. And I think when that happens, that policy and the people that now are trying to suppress everybody talking about these grooming gangs, etc., these people will be lucky if they are alive. That's what's going to happen. They'll show no mercy. Yes. I guarantee you that the people that will take over and the people that do this will be absolutely fucking brutal. Protests have started already. That's nothing. No, I'm talking like, trust me. Again, they're still saying turn the boats away. Just wait till they start saying sink them, because that's what's next. And it would have never gotten to this point if they had treated the people who had reservations about migration seriously instead of calling them racists and banning them off of social media and putting them in jail. It would have never gotten to this point.
That you going on TV and criticizing them can drive them into action that they otherwise haven't taken for decades. Do you know who actually ordered up this, I guess raid is the word for it?
I have absolutely...
Well, obviously somebody who's at the government. And to be clear, it's bad. It's going to happen, but it's still bad. Of course this is bad. Yeah, tons of innocent people are going to be hurt by this. On both sides. Tons of them are. And this is going to be awful. And it's a problem that's a complete unforced error by the government.
No idea. I know that it was two police officers from the CSE team that knocked on my door. They said they had been working for the force for a year and 6 months respectively, and they were quote unquote...
I think another great example of this is like you look at Alligator Alcatraz, where you have the president of the United States that just says, yeah, we're going to let illegal aliens get eaten by alligators and die. And everybody's like, yeah, based. True. Great. Awesome. He won the popular vote. 10 years ago, that would have gotten you canceled. Now it gets you elected. Imagine where we're going to be 10 years from now.
Trying to make a difference. I don't...
No way. As if it wasn't bad enough. I mean, that's just silly. I mean, I can't believe that. Oh, we're trying to make a difference here. How dare you speak against this stuff? You're not helping anyone. We're the ones trying to make a difference. You got to be kidding me, dude.
Yep.
I don't know what difference they were making by going after a victim rather than...
When did he say let them get eaten by alligators? Somebody was interviewing him, and he said, well, so, like, is the idea that if they escape, they'll get attacked by alligators? And he says, like, yeah, I guess that's kind of the idea. Yeah, sure. It's pretty much about it. Yeah. Yeah, no, he straight up said it. Yeah, like he did.
Traitors, those that have been systematically using grooming and passing girls around, like... You know, like...
well,
for decades.
Absolutely insane. Of course, there is so much that can be said about that. It is just vastly disturbing, and my apologies for having to cut some of that. You probably saw the disclaimers I put on screen for very brief portions of that clip. She, as mentioned, did go into further detail about these disgusting crimes. And yeah, just think of the worst possible stuff that can happen to women and children. And that's sort of stuff that she's talking about that they apparently don't want her talking about. And that takes us to the next part of the video. In the UK, the Office of Communications is getting more and more desperate, it seems. This account right here, Alex Armstrong, saying exposed. Ofcom, Office of Communications, are paying influencers to spread propaganda about the Online Safety Act in the UK.
What?
Orwell's 1984 isn't just here, it's in full motion. Thank you to Dr. Hoenderkamp for bringing this to my attention. And I gotta say, like, before I can even read this, if you're an influencer accepting this money and doing this, I mean, just pathetic beyond words, really. So, goes on to say, paid advertisement.
Say paid advertisement? Where does it say?
It shows this Instagram account here. It reads, as of the 25th of July, anyone trying to access adult content online will have to prove they are over 18. This is not to ruin anyone's fun, but it's about time that children are protected online.
My skeptic inside of me makes me think that, is the advertisement for that, or is it for the can of soda that she's holding? Is that explained in the video? Like, I'm not convinced by this. Yeah, I'm sorry, but like, this isn't, it's not convincing enough.
There is an enormous amount of content out there, but some of it is content that is made for adults and not children. This is just the start of trying to make the internet a safer place, and this arrow, which does cut off some of the text there, but the arrow points to, as you can see, this being an advertisement. So, yeah, I mean, if this is all true, this is not a doctored screenshot, which, I mean, I don't think it is, but, you know, as a disclaimer, I will say, assuming this is all true.
Olivia Bentley K. Somebody'd have to find the post and show me. But it looks like it, and you can see that this girl is advertising all kinds of products all the time. I don't think that we can say with certainty that her doing this advertisement, it was actually by this company. I think this is people looking for something, and they're looking so hard that they've made it up themselves. I don't, yeah, I'm not exactly sure. I would not, I don't trust this yet.
I mean, how pathetic, man. Like, I couldn't imagine the sort of person that would take money to promote this nonsense, to stand up for this corruption, and to gaslight your own followers about it, to take the money and push this on your followers, trying to spread the agenda of these corrupt politicians. I mean, I don't know how someone could possibly ever be okay with that. And it goes without saying, of course, but yeah, doing it for free would be bad too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just all around, as mentioned, a really pathetic thing. Then I also saw this tweet about the Labour government in Australia and this app called Signal app, which is apparently a very popular messaging app in Australia. I've never heard of it before. If this is like popular around the world, I guess I'm just out of the loop. But the tweet reads from Integrity. Breaking, Labour government demands backdoors into encrypted messaging apps. Whittaker, Signal app's president, said they would exit Australia before giving access. The quote being,
I think that every single company should obviously have to follow the law, and they should have to like give every information away if it's asked to by a judge. Just because a website has like an ideology of like, oh, this is the way it should be. If you want to do business in a country, you have to follow that country's laws. That's all there is to it. Like, there's no way around this. They should leave? Well, then they can. But those are the two options. Yeah, so then they pull out? Absolutely.
Our commitment to end-to-end encryption, maintaining robust, technically guaranteed privacy for everyone who uses Signal, never wavers. And so the text here in the article says, Signal boss warns Apple X Australia if forced to hand over users' encrypted messages. So I'll admit, I don't think I fully understand this one, but to my understanding, I don't think Signal currently holds decryption keys.
The principle is correct, but in this case, they should leave. Australia has some really draconian, shitty laws. Yeah, and that's totally their discretion to do that. But obviously, a company should not be able to defy the national laws of the country that they're doing business in because it goes against what their business model is or what their company ideals are. This is very obviously true, and if you applied this to any other thing that you guys would agree with, you would immediately realize that it's necessary. Of course, companies just. You think a company just gets to ignore a subpoena? That's ridiculous.
So, hypothetically, if the government were to demand like chat logs from their app, they wouldn't be able to hand them over, and this would mean that the government wants them to redesign the app in a way where they create this backdoor access that They would then give the Australian government, which Signal believes would threaten their global security model,
Mr.
and saying they'd rather
That's
leave.
a huge problem. And you're right that certain companies own the government and they're able to effectively operate without any sort of regulation. Or if in worst case, they can use the regulation against other companies that are their adversaries.
Of Australia, then do such a thing. Unless I have this completely mistaken, which I might. And lastly, we've also got some news over in the U.S. This article from torrentfreak.com saying U.S. senators introduced new pirate site blocking bill, Blockbeard. Now, it's actually a very wordy article, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I will go over, for about a minute or so, what I find to be some of the highlight areas. Earlier this year, U.S.
I think people are being misdirected. The frustration around these new internet laws is not, in my opinion, the big problem. The big problem are the speech laws that the internet laws are used to enforce. That's where the real big issue is. Because you wouldn't need to worry about going to jail if there wasn't a law against doing it. That's the main fucking problem. It's that they have all these laws in the UK, in Australia, in Canada, etc., that limit your freedom of speech, and it prevents people from expressing themselves. That's fundamentally what the issue is.
Zoe Lofgren introduced a new pirate site blocking bill titled the Foreign Anti-Digital Piracy Act, FADPA. This week, a similar proposal was introduced by Senators Tillis, Coons, Blackburn, and Schiff. The bipartisan bill titled Block Bad Electronic Art and Recording Distributors, Blockbeard, aims to introduce a legal mechanism for rights holders to request site blocking orders. The site blocking proposal seeks to amend U.S. copyright law, enabling rights holders to request federal courts to designate online locations as a foreign digital piracy site, quote unquote. If that succeeds, courts can subsequently order U.S. service providers to block access to these sites.
There is more piracy that happens on YouTube than everywhere else on the internet put together. So unless you can apply this to YouTube, then I don't want to hear about it. This is just bullshit. Like, think about how many movie clips and things like that you've seen on YouTube. Do you think that that was licensed by Paramount, the studios? Was this licensed by Warner Brothers? No, of course not.
Pirate site designation would be dependent on rights holders showing that they are harmed by a site's activities, that reasonable efforts have been made to notify the site's operator, and that a reasonable investigation confirms the operator is not located within the U.S. Additionally, rights holders must show that the site is primarily designed for piracy, has limited commercial purpose, or is intentionally marketed by its operator to promote copyright infringing activities. If the court classifies a website as a foreign pirate site, rights holders can go back to court to request a blocking order. At this stage, the court will determine whether it is technically and practically feasible for ISPs to block the site and consider
This is the beginning, guys. The World Wide Web, I don't think will exist when we are old. Like, when we're 65 or 70, we won't have the World Wide Web anymore.
Potential harm to the public interest.
There will be some residual vestigial places that are similar to that, but the way that we're on the internet right now, we're on the clock.
Orders would stay in place for a year with the option to extend if necessary. If blocked sites switch to new locations, the court can also amend blocking orders to include new IP addresses and domain names. So yeah, Blockbeard and FADPA do seem to be very similar, mainly differing in the whole DNS.
Okay, all right. Again, like get mad all you want. I don't want this to happen. I think it's going to happen. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm just telling you what I think is going to happen.
Resolver part of the proposals and the judicial process that they are also proposing. I could have phrased that better, but yeah. And that's the final thing I want to go over in this video, so I'll leave it there. As always, thank you for tuning in. I know it was kind of a gloomy video in many ways. You know,
those are my favorite.
Well, not some. Lots of disturbing stuff going on, to say the least. But regardless, I do hope you enjoyed my coverage, and thank you again for tuning in. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and or subscribing. It helps out greatly. Look forward to seeing you here in the comments and in the next one.
President Trump says the United States is moving to
Just a second, sorry about
Welcome back.
I'm gonna be real. I think that it's very, very obvious and very, very clear that this is where things are going. You are going to have more internet censorship. You are going to have an increasingly more segmented and localized internet. You are going to have more laws on the internet. And again, if you are in the UK and you're in Australia and you're mad about this, you need to get mad about the laws that are being enforced with this law rather than being mad about this law. Because this law obviously wasn't needed for them to enforce speech laws. That's how people have been getting arrested for tweets for the last decade. So very clearly, that's not the reason why this is happening. It might make it easier for the government, but at the end of the day, it was still happening one way or another. So you need to, again, the laws and the speech rules and regulations, that's the real problem more than anything else. If we don't protest against this, it will happen. I think that, again, in the United States, and this is the thing, in the US, we don't really have this problem as much. Like, it's not as bad for, like, you getting in trouble for shit that you say online. If anything, it should be worse. But for other people, I think it is. Yeah, I think it absolutely is. And especially, like, in like, places in Europe and in Australia and in Canada yet. Yeah, of course, yet. I mean, obviously, you need to always be vigilant with that kind of stuff. That was a hot-ass take. It's not a hot take. It's literally a fact. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. But, like, basically, the law is the bullets. If somebody's pointing a gun at you and pulling the trigger and there aren't any bullets in it, then you're not going to get hurt. But the laws that they're using are the bullets. So focus on that, and that's what the problem is. Do you think it's a net benefit to remain anonymous on the internet? Would you trade anonymity for complete free speech online? Well, it's different because, like, so you're talking about anonymity. I think that users should be anonymous to each other, but the government should be able to find out who users are that are using ISPs. Like, for example, like if you're using an ISP and you're distributing child porn, I think that the government should be able to find out who you are and arrest you. Absolutely. Of course you should. So, yes, anonymity is, yes, and they can already do that. But I don't think that there should ever be a universe where your anonymity is at risk to other people. So, like, what I mean is that, like, on Twitter, I don't think some random person on Twitter should be able to pull your file and look at everything you're doing on the internet. This should only be reserved for government entities under court orders and court warrants. Does that make sense? And by the way, that's pretty much how it is right now. So yeah, exactly. Court ordered, yes. Yeah, only with a court order, and that's it. Would you consider this akin to burning books back in the old days? Like even Wikipedia is getting sanitized? Yeah, I think so for sure, definitely. You shouldn't be prosecuted for wrongthink, though. Then go after the laws for prosecuting people on wrongthink and not the laws that are being used to enforce those laws.
Guys, hope you
because that's really where the problem is more than anything. And that's really what I was trying to get at. But if the idea thing, a $44 million VPN business dies overnight, well, a lot of VPNs will turn over your information already. Like if a VPN, there are some VPNs that don't store data. And so obviously, like, there's nothing really for them to turn over, but I would expect that practice to, I think that's on a timer. I don't think that in maybe 10 or 20 years, that's still going to be the case. Because I think that companies, obviously, like, you know, businesses and the government isn't going to let people continue to do that. Proton won't do it. Well, the thing is that, and this is the issue that I think a lot of you guys don't understand, is that these companies don't have any leverage. If the government tells them to do something and they don't do it, they just go to jail. They shut down the company. It's done. That's it. Like, it's not like there's a negotiation here at all. The government says jump, and the companies have to say how high. There's no negotiation. There's no argument. There's no, oh, but this is what the right thing to do is. They have, yes, the government has absolute power. They have a monopoly on violence. They tell the companies what to do, and the companies have to obey them, and that's it. They can't fight it. They can fight it? No, they can't. I mean, they can to an extent, but if they really do it in a big way that obscures and goes against what the law is, then they'll just simply go to they'll go there and arrest the people. That's it. If they do not store logs, they have nothing to give away. Exactly. But like, all I'm saying is that certain companies can fight it. The extent that companies can fight it is to the extent that the government allows them to fight it. Do you think that the companies can fight it here or in China? Because I guarantee you in China, the company says, you know, oh, well, we want to do things this way. Chinese government says, no, you're not doing them this way. And the company says, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'll never do things that way ever again. And why is that? Everybody knows why that is. It's because the government has a monopoly on violence.
I'm sure all of you have noticed, but over the last year or so, I've watched a lot of body cam footage. There is something endlessly interesting about seeing a crazy situation unfolding through the eyes of an officer's nipples. And in general, body cam content has really exploded online, especially on YouTube and TikTok in particular. It's gotten so big, in fact, that now there are channels dedicated to faking them for the sake of making like really outrageous or very inflammatory content that is presented as authentic. So that way, people share it, get upset, and they get tons of money off the AdSense from these completely fraudulent body cam videos, and they have been really, really raking in tons of money.
A month ago, I made a video covering the YouTube channel known as Bodycam Declassified. This channel has blown up over the past few months, making fake bodycam arrest videos with inflammatory titles and content that they present as real to get millions of views.
Scott Schaefer made 2 videos covering this topic, specifically Bodycam Declassified, who seems to be the biggest culprit. Their videos go viral, at least were going viral pretty frequently, and people were under the impression that it was all legitimate. So they went viral on multiple different platforms. When I'd stream and I'd watch like a police chase or something where a guy hops in a fucking lawnmower and cranks it to 10 miles per hour for the slowest speed chase you've ever seen on the East Coast, I would be inundated with requests to check out this catalog of cuckoldry here with these fake body cams from people that were under the impression that they were real, because this channel presents them as such.
Since my initial video on May 29th, Bodycam Declassified has uploaded a total of 10 new bodycam videos, and interestingly enough...
So, Ethan, in his fucking, what's the word for it? I'm trying to think. Crusade against these people is going absolutely apeshit about this. So he's been suing them, and here we go. It's a crusade.
So let's just go ahead and start with Frogie. Of course, I've got my PP. Now it's the same PP, but I'm going to do it differently and do it kind of special for you guys. So
Frogan
this
gives
is a very
up.
special PP because it's live. So let's talk about this. Frogan is literally about to default early next week. What has she done with the 50K she ripped? We have not heard from her or her attorney at all.
What a flop.
She has like 5 days to respond to our complaint, or she loses by default. And this was last night.
Wow.
And this was last night. So it's probably down to 40. It's probably down to 40. So this came. So after this came from Ethan. So this is from Ethan, right? This was the Snarkers, and this is one of the most legally inaccurate takes. That's one of the most legally inaccurate.
Wow, what a surprise! A Redditor doesn't know what they're talking about. Can you believe that?
Takes ever. Okay. This
no
is
way.
Can't wait to see the case.
Ethan with scorched earth. It's gonna get worse.
Missed after Fro. What is she like? First of all, who calls her Fro? Like when I hear them call her Fro, it sounds like she's Froyo. Okay. Like I can't
that ice
not
cream
think
shit.
That she's frozen yogurt.
Oh.
So let's get into this. After Fro files a motion to quash after being improperly served, this dude is such.
I never, ever eat that. Like there was some like rich white people area that my ex-girlfriend wanted me to go to, and she wanted me to buy her one of them. I refused to even eat a single bite. I would not eat it. I already have ice cream. I don't need another one. I will not.
An idiot. He has all of his money and doesn't know what to do with it, so therefore
ice
his
cream like a normal
lack
person.
of a lawyer
Tastes gay.
is just taking it from him.
I knew it.
LMAO. This is really funny. Okay, well, first of all,
this dude is such an idiot. He has all the money and doesn't know what to do with it. Therefore, his quack of a lawyer. Oh God.
Let's correct the record. All lawyers are greedy, money-sucking.
That's right.
Soulless.
Whenever I heard this is why I wanted to go to law school.
Quacks. No, they're all crazy in a special way. All lawyers are just crazy in a special way. But beyond that,
as soon as I realized that,
procedurally inaccurate and completely wrong. And I'm going to explain how this is just completely wrong.
You're quack? No, the reason actually was because I played Magic the Gathering, and my friend Jason knew all the rules so well that he could manipulate the rules to make himself win in disputes where he shouldn't have won. But I couldn't argue against it because I didn't know the rules as well as him. And so I thought that if I could learn the legal code, I could manipulate people in the world in a way that he could manipulate the Magic the Gathering, and it would give me an advantage over everybody else. That was the real reason. So it's kind of close. Because if you know the rules to life, then you can use them and abuse them.
First of all, let's explain what a default judgment is, okay? Default judgment is a court ruling in favor of the plaintiff, typically because the defendant does not file a defense or the defendant doesn't acknowledge
They don't even know what happened.
You know, if you just want to stick your head in the sand and pretend you don't know what's going on, you're likely going to get a default judgment. Now,
so it's not like it's even going to get thrown out. The only person that's going to get thrown out is Frogan.
There are certain circumstances in which not receiving service is a real thing.
Yeah.
However,
that's why they have to serve you papers.
Ethan Klein has multiple methods. He can, obviously have what we call hand deliveries when you're hand serviced, but there's also service by publication. So you can publish it in a newspaper of general circulation.
That's right.
And that can generally get back and serve a service. And beyond that,
she acknowledged it. She should have never acknowledged it.
All know that Frogan knows about this lawsuit.
Of course.
Like, it's not something that Frogan doesn't know about. It's very public. So it's very clear what's going on here to a judge that Frogan is trying to dodge.
Frogan is trying to
evade
it's over.
Right? And
she knows that. Everybody knows that.
This default judgment, this court ruling in favor of the plaintiff, he would win without Frogan ever having a chance to assert defense. So Frogan, even if she gets this default judgment, so even if the court ends up ultimately siding with Ethan Klein and saying, hey, default judgment. And remember, with a default judgment, that isn't a win for Klein. He gets what he wants. So he'll get damages, whatever else
it's
he
like
wants.
If your team quits the game in the middle of a match, you still win the match, but it's like you
video,
don't
whatever he wants, he's going to get that by default. Say it. Well, this person is not fighting back, so okay. And then he can proceed, if she doesn't do anything, she can proceed to collecting on that judgment at a certain point. However, Frogi Yogi does have a potential opportunity to challenge the default judgment.
Of course.
She does that with an objection to the default judgment, which is a motion to set aside. So she can make a motion to set aside the default judgment. Now, she does need to have a valid excuse, right? So not receiving the claim could be if...
No, you set up a GoFundMe. You talked about it. That is not going to happen.
If the service, all types of service, were invalid. But I guarantee you that at least one type of service that they used on this, whether it was, hand delivery or publication or some sort of substitute service, was legally sufficient to provide notice of service or sufficient service to proceed with the case.
Well, she already
They're
knew
not going to issue the default judgment typically if there was completely bunk service. But the burden would be on Frogi to prove that. And beyond that,
there's no way she can prove that, especially if he said it and she acknowledged it the entire time.
You'd have to have something like illness or extreme emergency. And as far as we know in the Frogan case, Frogan is not in the hospital. Frogan is not under extreme emergency. Frogan was not in a crisis zone.
Well, I think that she is. I mean, the rents probably do, and that's not going so well, I would assume. But she does have that extra $35,000, so maybe things will be okay.
She's not somewhere where bad stuff is going down.
Yeah, surely.
Right? Or she'd have to prove a procedural error.
Unless the judge is sympathetic to Frogan. What do you think? Do you think the judges are going to be sympathetic to Frogan?
Right? However, she has to respond to do this, and that response has to be very prompt and persuasive. So she'd have to do that anyway.
Oh, that's
so she's going to have to go back, write the court, and explain why she did not respond before, etc. And the judge is not obliged to accept that. The judge can say, "I don't accept this. We're still sticking with the default judgment." Now, here's the thing. Here's the biggest thing, and here's where the snarkers are completely wrong. This is where the snarkers just are completely...
Wait, so are you telling me that a bunch of random Redditors with no degree or any sort of knowledge in this topic whatsoever actually don't know what they're talking about? There's no way! This might be the first time that's happened.
Stupid. Is even
What?
if Frogi objects to the default, and even if the judge grants her motion,
Yes.
if everything goes the same way, you know what the end result is?
She's paying
You know what
Ethan
the end
money.
result
That's the end result.
is? It's not the case being dropped, kids. It's the case proceeding as normal.
Man.
So if Rogan goes through all this extra work, all she's gonna do
is make it happen anyway.
have the case. Literally, somebody in the chat said it.
Yeah.
Who said it here? Square one. It's back at square one. Congratulations, Rogan. You literally did nothing. You do
Man.
all this work for freaking nothing. Wow, Queen. Wow. So smart. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Sigma.
Slay.
Right? We're just going crazy here. We're just going crazy. But let's also talk about the money.
Uh-oh.
So here's our
Uh-oh.
lovely Frogi. And she's got, her legal defense fund at this
Yeah.
point at $35K. She also had other donations from other places. So I believe, Ethan's number
$35,000. That's a lot of money.
was around 50K.
Oh, her goal was $200,000 though. Oh, okay, never mind. Not so good, huh?
Okay. He's tracking this closer than I am, so let's just assume that it's
Yeah.
50K,
He
but,
is.
she got at least 35K here. But she had this legal defense fund, and my concern is, what about the money? What did you do with the cash, Brogan? What did you do with the cash?
Where's the money,
You're clearly
Lebowski?
not spending all that money on your lawsuit. And so the question is, where is that money going, Brogan?
Everybody knows.
Where is that money going, Frogan? Is that going to your muffin budget? Because it's certainly not going into responding to the claims, right? Certainly not going to respond to the claims. And what happens if the funds were diverted to purposes other than the legal defense? That's a possible crime. That's a possible crime.
It's obviously, yeah. I mean, you're raising money for something and then you don't even spend the money on it. Like, yeah, you're misleading people. Absolutely, it's bullshit.
Theft by
It's not
deception,
right. It
false
ain't right.
pretenses,
Damn,
fraud,
I
step
got that
fraud,
auto off.
also wire
So I
fraud.
got that kill.
So we're talking about potential theft or fraud. Did it go
So
into
what
an
if she raises? Wait a minute. So are we in a universe where if by her raising money for this legal defense, and then she doesn't actually meet it and defend herself, she could actually end up losing 2 court cases at the same time? So for the Nux Taku video is gonna be Frogan is now 200% fucked.
Ulta?
And for
That's a
once,
very good
he'd be
question.
right.
We don't know. And once again, this is speculation.
Yeah.
This is speculation. So out there, let me be very clear.
Nobody
I'm
knows.
speculating. It's a question I'm asking. And I don't know. And we need to know, where's the
don't
money,
know.
Frogan? What are you doing? The other thing is, if she was misdirecting these funds, she could be fined. There can be restitution, right? Meaning the money is returned to the people that donated.
So
there-
the money gets returned to everybody. She loses the lawsuit against Ethan, and she also gets in trouble for fraud. Guys, I don't think I can take this much winning.
can even be prison time. So we need to figure out what's going on with that
There's
money.
no
so
way.
last night, this was the language last night. Tell me if she changed this language. Because I highlighted this, and this is what was up last night, as of last night. Okay? So after 2 years of target harassment campaign against me, Ethan Klein has now escalated it into suing me for reacting to his video on Hassan and myself on his video titled Content Nuke Hassan Tyke. This fundraiser to cover any and all legal fees associated with this complaint and any counterclaims I have against them. So
Yes.
stop there. So far,
So
as
she
far-
clearly states what it's for. She says this is what the league, this is what this fundraiser is for.
As we know,
Not muffins.
she has not paid any.
It is
legal
not
fees,
for
and
muffins.
She definitely hasn't filed any counterclaims.
Yes.
So as to these two, they're wrong. Now here's the part
No,
where
zero
we
muffins.
might get into some debate. This next part, the part I underline. She
Personal
puts
expenses.
any other bills, and personal expenses. So she's going to argue, oh, I can put food under that.
What if she comes back and there's like 50 Labubus behind her?
I can put makeup under that because I need to look pretty for litigation.
Bro,
I can do all this sort of stuff. That's a personal expense. I can pay for like 22 layers of cover-up, right?
Yeah.
Under personal expense because that's a personal expense. But the problem is, and then the rest of it is from lost wages and damages arising from this litigation.
Yes.
Well, the question is, when you have arising from, if you're not participating in the litigation, if you are not fighting back, there's no litigation to speak of. Therefore, it's not arising from.
That is what she's saying. That is what he's right. Fucking got him. Fucking gotcha. There it is. That's grammar. That's right.
The litigation. So despite the fact that personal expenses is here, and that might be valid, it's in connection with the litigation. It's not personal expenses for her to go on a personal trip, right? For her to go buy a sandwich or whatever, Chipotle. It's not for any of that. Okay? So
yeah,
that is a
right?
situation where she may have some trouble. All right, so let's get into denims. Let's go deep on denims. Okay? Even though she's disloyal. Here is this discovery matter. It's an order granting a stipulation for the plaintiff, that's Ethan Klein, he's TED Entertainment, to serve third-party subpoenas prior to Rule 26F conference. So this is literally, remember, as a reminder, disloyal denims literally betrayed the Reddit mods. She stabbed them in the back.
That's right. She roached out on all of them. I forgot all about this.
Refused to defend them at all.
That's right.
She completely sacrificed them to the corn in order to get this moving along.
Sure.
Right? And she gave up all of their information. She said, you know what? You can subpoena them, you can get all their information.
Wow. See, this is what I was saying, bro. When the well runs dry, the people begin to eat each other. And as soon as famine strikes, as soon as there's trouble in paradise, suddenly all of this solidarity instantly disappears, and it's every man for himself.
That's denims. That's the type of girl she is. Once again, this is why these people are going to fold
Disloyal
like a
denims.
sack of cards. They have no loyalty for each other. They
Wow.
don't care for each other at all. All of this, we're one big community, we're one big proletariat. That falls apart.
That's exactly what I said.
Falls apart immediately
Yes.
when push comes to shove.
What a surprise. Wow. What a surprise.
Pushing
Who
each
could've
other in
guessed?
front of the firing squad. Right.
Bro.
When push comes to shove. They're pushing each other in front of the firing squad.
Oh my God. I love it. It doesn't get better than that.
Right. They're pushing each other in front of the firing squad. And we see this with them.
Unreal, he's cooking. He is.
Completely unreal. Upon consideration of the joint stipulation, granting plaintiff leave to serve third-party subpoenas prior to the Rule 26F conference, plaintiff Ted X Entertainment, Ted X Inc., and defendant Alexandra Marwa Saber, PK Denims.
Nope.
Dirty Denims. And for good cause shown, the court hereby rules as follows. The stipulation is granted.
Wow.
TEI, that's Ethan Klein, may immediately serve the subpoena attached as Exhibit A to the stipulation on the third-party Reddit, that's so Reddit in general, accompanied by this order, and shall include the date of the Reddit subpoena that was issued in the
Reminder, before Stalin starved 40 million Christians to death, he executed all the useful idiots that helped him gain power. Hey, Saddam had a great role model. What can I say? Bro, he had the vision.
data compliance, and they may also serve subpoena on Discord. Uh-oh! Granted by Wesley L. Hugh, Sue, maybe?
I don't know.
United States District Judge, July 31st. So the point of the matter here is that we have a official subpoena of Discord and Reddit. And Discord and Reddit, I'm telling you right now, and I know this, I have friends that are civil litigators, I've seen this in other cases that we've studied, etc.
So we have an individual here. The law shouldn't apply to pretty women. Ethan is a twitchy, ugly beast. He's fucking gross. You don't care about this lawsuit. You just hate Jews. So this guy's complaining about Trump and then hating Jews. Why do you hate Jews? LOL. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, I don't know what to say, guys. Well, there it is. Oh my god. And ban and move on. Yeah, I think that's probably the right option. And again, I love how they don't feed the poor. Google it. What does that have to fucking do with anything? Do you think that Ethan has a legit... Let me ask you something before you're getting banned. You're getting banned. You're obviously getting banned. You know you're getting banned. Do you think that Ethan has a legitimate lawsuit on these two individuals? Do you think that he has a lawsuit on them or not? Says no, not at all. Yeah. So you don't really care. You're calling him ugly. You're saying he's a Jew. The law shouldn't apply to pretty women. You are an angry simp. You're an angry simp that hates Jews, that hopefully thinks that now it's popular to hate Jews. And so maybe if I say this, I'll get attention from girls. Sorry, Ricky. Your time is over. You're done. We've had enough of you.
Twitter and Reddit are going to turn over all the data. They do not care.
See you tomorrow.
They
on
have
your new
no
account.
dog in the fight to defend these people. None. Zero. They do not care. They do not want to fight and want to go into a huge legal battle over fighting the disclosure information. They're just going to do it. They're going to roll over.
What a surprise.
But then also, because some of your cohorts leaked your Discord messages to us, we have some of your Discord IDs, and guess what? We're gonna if anyone's gonna have your real identity, it's gonna be right there. We're gonna have
that's it. Hold on, let's play it one more time.
Messages to us.
This is something that a lot of people don't understand. If the court wants to find out who was behind an account, they're gonna do it. They're gonna figure it out. And it's probably going to take them about a day. They'll just be like, okay, so where was the account made? All right, so the account was from this IP address. Okay, well, who's the provider of the IP address? Okay, it's this person. Well, I'll just call them up. Okay, well, we've got a court order for this IP address. What's the name and information? Okay, there it is. So they live there? Okay, all right, well, we'll just go over there and see who it is. Yeah. Yeah, VPN or not, you're getting a subpoena? Yeah, like, oh, I'm going to use a VPN. I'm secret? No, that's not going to happen.
We have some of your Discord IDs, and guess what? We're gonna if anyone's gonna have your real identity, it's gonna be right there. We're gonna have all your messages, Discord. And listen, don't try to erase them. If you erase them now, it's not gonna look good.
No, it won't.
You guys remember that? You guys remember what that is? Now, obstruction, it can't be obstruction. It can be obstruction, but spoliation of evidence.
Yeah.
That is exactly right. That is exactly right. You guys in the class paying attention. So let's continue. Let's play the rest of this.
And you should know that I'll still get them even if you erase them. Because
What do you mean if I erase my message in Discord, they can still see it? Well, I can't see it. It must be gone.
the companies hold.
Yeah, they don't really delete that.
Yeah, and that, you
There's
know,
like a 30-day preservation or 180-day. It depends on which company it is. But yeah, there's a preservation policy that a lot of these companies have.
and so I'm getting it, you know? So you can erase, you can run, you can cry, you can piss, you can... But I'm coming. And you're about to find out when you... What happens when you a stranger and... We got to pull that
so
sound.
censored.
Okay, I will gladly do that. Great scene. Great scene.
Yeah.
It's just,
Although
but then
coming.
also...
So the point is that even if they delete it, it's not going to matter.
Yeah,
There are more
I guess
rewrites
not.
of the
We
Epstein-
saw this one yesterday. Yeah, I think this is
So let's-
really fucking funny. And so it looks like they are totally fucking cooked. They know they're cooked. They're afraid. There's the video right there. And let me see if I can find this. What is this here? Karen's Docs, Sydney Sweeney. Let me. I'll go back and I'll pull this up in just a second. Okay. Give me 1 second. I'm going to just find it, and then I'll go back to this. I'll get to that in a minute. But anyway, so wow. If this is actually true, and they don't even respond or try to fight it, and then they hold on to the money, they could actually be looking at 2 lawsuits and potentially imprisonment. I think that they're probably not going to go to jail, as funny as it would be. It's probably not going to happen, but that's really fucking funny for me to see this happen. Yeah, it's hilarious. I'll watch the Meat Canyon video, but not today. And so that's where I'm at. Ethan's going after Bad Empanada. The guy, the dude had this flea for South America. I know. And am I your only viewer that doesn't give a shit about streamer drama? No, I think tons of people don't care about it, and I totally understand that. I like to cover a lot of different stuff and talk about a number of different things. And so, yes, obviously not every single thing will appeal to everybody, but I sure as fuck think this is funny. I'll tell you that. I think it is hilarious that this is happening, and I think it's going to keep getting worse, too. So, yeah, there you go, guys. Anyway, fucking bro. Andrew has been just on top of this. And the fact that, like, he's covering it and talking about it, it's so funny the difference between, like, you know, these, like, Reddit echo chambers and an actual person's legal opinion on something. It's a totally different universe, isn't it? Here we go. This is where things are at right now.
So, you just finished the Smash Room. How was it?
It was.
What is this?
So, you just finished the Smash Room. How was it?
It was everything I could have ever dreamed and hoped for.
What were you thinking about when you were smashing? What did you smash?
This is millennial daycare, by the way. We have such a huge problem right now and nobody can even see it.
The patriarchy.
Fuck you, Trump! Fuck you! Don't worry about it. This guy's 3 years away from a heart attack. He acting that way. He gonna be done. He's probably not even gonna vote next time. Don't worry about him.
That's where I'm at.
How'd that feel?
Yeah. Well, it feels good. I mean, I just...
Woo. What did the watermelon mean to you?
Well, I'm...
What does it say? What does the sign say? Rules. Wear PPE, respect yourself and others, listen to marshals, don't wreck lanes on purpose anyway. Participate at your own risk. Rage against the machine.
Well, I'm autistic and bisexual, and I don't want to be put on a registry, and I don't want my data to be used illegally by RFK, and I don't want to be shipped off.
We're gonna put her on a registry for being bisexual and autistic. We're gonna have like a list. There's gonna be like you go on the internet. It's like which houses to avoid are the autistic houses.
Off to a health farm by RFK that he's gonna, he plans to put us all on.
Oh, that's right, because she's... I didn't say it. She said it. She implied it. I would never say that. Does she really believe in the fat camps? Are you kidding me?
Shipped off to a health farm
A health
by
farm?
RFK that he's gonna, he plans to put us all on, similar to like the, I shouldn't say similar,
You're gonna say concentration camps.
but like it's a health farm version of the concentration camp.
How can you predict the boss attack pattern that only has one attack? How could I be so smart? Wow.
It's an alligator Alcatraz, and nobody deserves to be in concentration camps. That's Nazi shit. I didn't realize how much was literally pent up inside my body until I let it out, and I was like, oh my god, I started kind of shaking afterward.
There's a lot of rage behind the
All of these people are my age. I could have gone to high school with the majority of these people. This is a big problem. I don't know what to do about it. Some of them are probably older than they are. But, yeah, this is really, really bad, bro. I'm sorry. Yeah. Wow. Are you a potential Karen? I'll tell you, like, I always had a lot of friends in school. I never was like, you know, I would get made fun of sometimes, same as I made fun of other people, but like I never really was bullied, right? But there were a lot of people in like my age group that I just didn't really get along with. I never really got along with a lot of them. Cat? Well, I have videos of myself in high school. You can clearly see me hanging out with all my friends. I mean, they're on my YouTube channel. You can see I have like dozens of friends in high school. Like, I mean, it's not like I'm not, it's just the way it is. Yeah, I just never really got along with people.
lack of bodily autonomy that they're allowing as opposed to what they're not doing for children.
What they're not doing?
They're forcing them to have children, pretty much, by not allowing abortion in a lot of states. And in addition to that, I have many trans friends that are afraid to even walk outside.
That would make sense, because if a trans person goes outside, Donald Trump will catch them. What happens to them after that? Nobody knows. But he'll get them. He will get you. That's right.
What were you smashing the anger out for today?
These are all millennials. Guys, I'm starting to think that millennials might be a bigger threat to our culture than terrorism is. Fuck the Middle East. Fuck Hamas or Hezbollah or fucking the Houthis. Like, we got our problem right here. We got, like... This is bad, bro. This is intellectual terrorism? It is. Aren't you a millennial? Yep. Takes one to know one.
Everything, you
It's
know.
a vocal minority. How many okay friends do you have that are millennials? Well, look at the glasses. Yeah, this is again.
Like our rights being taken away slowly but surely, and not even slowly, pretty quickly actually, and you know, just the blatant.
Let me guess, she doesn't like RFK either.
Disrespect of our Constitution and of our laws as a society. Right now, I
What
think
about the disrespect of the law of not coming over into the fucking border? What about that one? Oh, that one's different, I'm sure.
I'm most worried for the immigrants in our country. You know, I'm really angry.
You mean the illegal aliens?
By how demonized they get. You know, that's the, I would say the first step.
Who's paying for these watermelons? Like, this is just a bunch of rich white people going out, listening to Green Day, throwing themselves a pity party, and destroying food. This is pathetic.
Many, you know, so like ethnic cleansing and you know, that things of that nature.
And right now,
oh my God,
undocumented immigrants, which is it is not illegal. This is not legal advice, but from what I understand,
it's not legal. Wait, oh, I love how now we have two qualifiers. she said it's not illegal, and then she says, wait a minute, this isn't legal advice. I think. She knows she's you know you're retarded. You know you're retarded.
Legal. This is not legal advice, but from what I understand, it is not illegal to be undocumented.
Okay. The understanding is wrong. It is illegal. Next.
I think we have a right to the pursuit of happiness in this country. So that's like right there in the. I don't.
What can't you do? What are you not able to pursue? Yeah, what is this?
Remember what? I don't know if it's called the Constitution or the Bill of Rights or something, but it's there. I've heard it before.
What did you smash today?
I just took a rotten fruit and I threw it at the photographs.
Couches, not kids. Impeach Mango Mussolini. Why would they do this to our 48th president? That's so rude.
That was good for me. That's what I wanted. And screamed. I screamed a lot.
On a personal level, how has the Trump admin affected you?
It's all boomers and millennials. This is the unholy alliance that I would have never seen. This is such a huge problem. They need to get those like kids that can't walk up the stairs because they don't use their legs because they're addicted to their tablet and Cocoa Melon and they can't write their own name at 8 years old. They got to get those kids in gear because we need to have we got to stop this.
You know, I can't say that I've lost a lot because of it, other than...
Yeah, there's nothing. You haven't lost anything. Everything's totally fine. You've invented all of these problems for yourself because you're retired, you have nothing better to do, so you just go around and complain. Yeah, we know. We know. Please continue, Karen.
Sleep, and I'm very stressed, and I'm anxious, and it's just hurting the quality of my life and my enjoyment of my retirement.
Who are you voting for in 2028 if you could choose?
I know she's not going to run for president. I know neither of them are going to run for president, but either Jasmine Crockett or AOC. I would be so cool if either one of them ran for president. I know they don't want to do it, but I'm like, please, God, please. So, yeah, if just, we need a progressive. We need a very much progressive, and we need a woman.
No, we don't.
Need somebody, or at least somebody with the uterus. Somebody.
I love how she corrects herself because oh my! I love how these people cannibalize themselves too. This is so funny.
Who does not identify as a cis white male in the White House, preferably somebody who identifies as female and progressive as all get out.
Wow. Well, you just saw a bunch of privileged white liberals go out and listen to Green Day and listen to Rage Against the Machine and congratulate themselves on being on the right side of history while destroying tons of food that they could have given to homeless people or the immigrants that they're talking about caring about. Luckily, though, the important thing is that they feel good. At the end of this, I bet they feel better. And that's what matters the most. It's really embarrassing, man. She's transphobic? I guess so. And can we make cis a fucking derogatory word already? I don't really care about that. Doesn't really matter to me. But anyway, yeah, this is just embarrassing, man. J.D. Vance should identify as a woman in 28. That'd be really funny. But I don't think it's going to happen. They don't because they can't sleep from the stress. Yeah, I guess so. They're addicted. A bunch of holics destroying fruit and they really should have been eating it. I mean, again, like, I'm not even making fun of the way people look, right? I mean, but like, so at least the glasses. I did make fun of the glasses, to be fair. But like, in general, this is just fucking embarrassing, bro. It's really fucking embarrassing. This is the way these people act, and this is what these people do. And it's crazy. Yeah, grown-ass adults are acting this way. And it's just crazy. And I don't even know what to do, man. Yeah, Rage Against the Regime. This is another group of them, too? Oh, my God. And don't you guys notice, isn't it really interesting that almost never with these things do you ever see any young people that are here? In almost every single circumstance, it's older people. Like, nobody under 30, I feel like, is going to these events at all. Like, I never see, like, 18-year-olds here. I feel like this should worry a lot of these protesters. It's just a bunch of geriatrics and millennials. Gerrymander? And also, by the way, they're all white people. Pretty much every single one of them, they're all white people. Yep. Look at the flag. Well, let me guess, it wasn't America.
Donald Trump has got to go!
Oh, there's an American flag. Okay, good for him. Probably going somewhere else. Jesus. Wow. What did he say? Oh, there we go. Yeah, again. This is so stupid. What is this? Yes. Oh my God. Wow. I don't even know what to say. And there it is. It's pathetic. It is actual fucking retards, man. And yeah, there it is, guys. Wow. Let's go. Now it's all white people. Every single one. Oh my fucking God. How, like, what's the ratio on this? This is crazy. Yeah, and so lame. The fuck are they doing? This is just what they do, right? And, yeah, I don't know what to say. What the fuck is wrong with these retards? It's just a bunch of watermelon that is gonna break. Rage out loud. Wow. This guy's got a Concord cosplay on. Let's say transmog.
Chance to
What is this? So lame, bro. What is this? What is going on? This, bro. We're gonna get it one more again. Wow. Nice. Can I throw one? Oh no, it's summer festivities. This is so fucking embarrassing. It is amazing. And there's even more. Oh no. I swear to God, you would probably get more diversity at, like, if you did a meetup for like 4chan's poll, or you did a meetup for even, I think if Nick Fuentes did a meetup, there would be more diversity than one of these protests. And it wouldn't even be close. Yeah, Roach Ranch, exactly. Like, this is insane. I don't get it. Yeah, it's amazing. What is going on with this? It's actually true. No, I'm being serious. I bet you're right. Absolutely. Even at a KKK meetup? Hey, I was going to say that, but I was like, probably not. But like with the other ones, yeah, definitely. And the protesting man, who you believe knew about Epstein crimes, how are you going to shit on them for that? Because it's not just about that. It's about protesting all the other stuff. If they're mad about Epstein, I think that's totally fair. But to act like that's the only reason why they're mad, nah, you're full of shit and you know it. And yeah, no, we're not going to play that fucking game. Absolutely not. And so anyway, imagine if you threw Biden, stuff on Biden and Kamala's print. Well, I think people would be mad about that. Roach Against the Machine. This stream is the most diverse stream online. I think that I have a very diverse group of people that watch me. I do. Like in general, there's a lot of people from all over the world that watch. And the reason why, do you want to know why people everywhere watch? It's because what I'm saying is, I think, universally true for a lot of guys that at least speak English. Like, yeah, like whether you're in fucking South America, whether you're in Europe or whatever, there's like a certain degree of this that is just universal. Now, I think that primarily it's a guy, this is pretty much a sausage fest. Like, I'm going to be honest, guys. It's pretty much only dudes that watch the stream. But it's guys from all over the world. And so that's it. And speak most humble. Yeah, except gender diverse. Well, yeah, because I'm talking about things like, again, I talk about things in a way that women don't like. It just is just like this is a general sense, a general thing that's going on. This cannot be stopped. Why not? This cannot be stopped. Why not?
This is not business as usual. Just this weekend, we've seen protests up and down the country, some of them absolutely enormous. And to me, it's beautiful. It's beautiful because it's the English people finally recognizing themselves, seeing themselves for who they are, looking left and right, shoulder to shoulder, and seeing that they're not alone. And I think
this is what I said before about the power of consensus. He's saying it himself, and he's just explaining it in a different way. He right?
Really, really powerful. Yep. Anyway, you came here to take a look at some protests. So we'll start with one in Manchester, where Paul Golding put on a march for remigration.
Yep, we saw this before. They're mad as fuck. They're saying, I know you guys don't speak British. They're saying, get them out. They're saying, get them the fuck out.
To me, that is spectacular, and I just love to see so many English flags in the crowd.
Yeah.
Now, I mentioned earlier
that's how you can tell that it's not America.
It was a march for remigration, and some of you may have never heard of this concept before.
Yeah.
Maybe you've been living under a rock. But the idea is pretty
self-explanatory.
You want more people to leave the country than are entering it. We didn't consent to mass immigration, and now we want to see that reversed. We're not happy for mass immigration to just stop, which it still hasn't.
Send them back.
We want it to be reversed. Okay, that's the broad concept. I also mentioned that this was set up by Paul Golding on behalf of Britain First. And in the past, I've said that I don't really see Britain First as a political party, even though technically they are. And I think I stand by that statement. I said in a previous video that I see them more as
I would say it's definitely a political. I think that, again, pretty much all discussions of how the government should treat people is political in nature. This is the same as like people saying like, oh, this isn't politics, it's just being a good person, with like, for example, allowing trans people to use a certain bathroom. It is politics for sure. It absolutely is. But I see what he's saying too, is that like this is generally an issue that most people are aligned with.
A street protest movement, and I think that's still true, right? Maybe in the future that will change, and I will change my opinion about that. But look, that is one hell of a street protest that they've put on. In fact, let's take a look at another angle of it.
That's a lot of people. Yep.
But it wasn't just Manchester. Yesterday in Islington, outside the Barbican Thistle Hotel, there was a protest. Why? Well, because 41 of the migrants staying in that hotel have been charged with 90 criminal offences. And
what the fuck is going on? How is this real? What is this? Like, how do you have this happen? What the fuck are they doing? This is insane. It's like they're speed running fascism. It's gonna happen. When these guys take over, it's gonna be really fucking bad. This is going to be so bad, bro. It's easy to explain. That's a tiny protest, to be honest. The average Fully riot is bigger. Oh, I know that. But it's not about the size of it. It's about where the size of it is going. Is it getting bigger or smaller? That's the conversation.
Unsurprisingly, the locals aren't too happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've always got my thingy up.
Stop the boats. Deport foreign criminals. Imagine that you need to push this. Deport foreign criminals. I think this is what I think is going to happen. I think they're not going to. I think that this extremism will not lead to a person being elected that says send the boats back. It's going to lead to a person being elected that says sink the boats. I think that's where we're going. I think that's obvious. Yes, the frustration keeps building. Yes, and the thing is that I'm worried about this because anything that's oppositional and violent like that eventually becomes toxic and problematic. It will be. And I'm worried about this being an existential problem all throughout the world. But again, not allowing civil, reasonable discourse has made this inevitable. I think that's where we're at. Shouldn't you be worried about the bad issues because of the bad things happening now, not because of what might happen before? Well, I'm just talking about it from like my perspective. Like, this is where I think things are going to go. This is where I think things are headed. And I think this is why, and I think this is what's going to happen after that. Like, I'm not really, like, again, I feel like I don't want them to do that. Just fucking deport these people, get rid of them, and then move on, right? Like, I mean, I don't think it's really a complex issue. But the people that are living there, that are developing such animosity for it, and that are so angry about it, I think that they are going to become bloodthirsty. And I think when that happens, it will be shocking.
Fortunately, they weren't actually able to protest where they were meant to because a horde of masked up Antifa guys showed up and blocked the route.
Yeah. See, this is the problem that Europe also has, is that there are a bunch of people who are defending these migrants. The entire idea, and I know that some of you guys in chat like to say this, that, oh, well, nobody in the UK wants this. Nobody, and I always say Europe. I'm really talking about the UK in this circumstance. A lot of the people in your country do want this mass migration. They do want the mass migration. They do want all of these third worlders to come in. And that is the problem that you need to solve before you go and do anything else. Just stop oil protesters? Yes, exactly. And so the question is why? So the reason why they want the immigrants in is because, number one, they think it's the morally right thing to do. Number two, they think that it will help the economy. Number three, they think that the countries are destabilized because of British policies and British interventionism, and so they deserve it. And number four, I think that there's a degree of collective guilt that Europe has for World War II and for previous racial differences and different types of racial segregation. And it's been passed down through generations, and it's been impressed upon these people to the extent that they will act on it. I think that all of these four things come together, and that is the reason why they're doing it. You're asking me, like, I'm not, again, I gave you where I think is, I don't live there. This isn't my problem. I'm telling you, this is my analysis of it. Cheap labor? Yeah, exactly.
Weirdly, they seem to be shouting some non-English phrase that I just can't understand. Anyway, they were later seen waving and cheering at the migrants in the hotel who were filming them back using their iPhones. Yeah, iPhones that we paid for.
Yep.
There is some good news though, because for a brief moment, the police...
And this is also another issue, is that I think this is also definitely a class thing, where a lot of the upper middle class, and this is especially true with like affluent people, are okay with more migration because they have more of a vested interest in the global economy and the country's economy because they have more money in stocks, they have more money in companies, etc. But the average working class person doesn't have that same type of vested interest. They do have pressures from housing, they have pressures from different things like this, and because of that, they look at those migrants that are living in that hotel and they say, well, if they're living in a hotel, why can't I live in an apartment for free too? Why do I have to pay for my apartment? I'm a citizen, but this person lives in the hotel and it's paid for by the government. And so really, this is a working class problem. And I think that's kind of what's happening right now. The Magna Carta needs to be rewritten. It's too old. I don't know about that. I'm just saying, like, this is just, it's not that complex, is it? I say it, don't think deeply about it. They want more victims, they want illegals to join them against decent people. I don't know. Who lives in a hotel? How do they cook food? I have no idea. Why do you think people, at least in the U.S., other than boomers, won't try contacting their state and federal reps? Sure, they suck, but enough angry constituents can bring change. I think that they do. Yeah, I think they do all the time. It just isn't enough.
It's some policing. I'm pretty sure they even made some arrests whilst they were there.
Uh-oh.
This is now happening up and down the country, every day. Local communities have just had enough. But I guarantee that the government has no idea why this is happening. They're just scratching their heads, wondering
how is this not capitalism's fault? Because there's countries that are capitalists that don't have this problem. So if it was the fault of capitalism, logically every country that was capitalist would have this problem. Any social system, like we have a lot of socialist systems here in the United States. Like Social Security, for example. I really don't like this dichotomy that people create between capitalism and socialism. Because in America, we have like a 70-30, 80-20 system. Where it's like 80 to 70% capitalism and 20 to 30% socialism. Where we have a lot of government assistance programs, and I think that we need to... I think the best way to do it is probably 60-40. Now, I think that once automation takes over enough jobs, I think it should be 60% socialism, 40% capitalism. And I don't see a world where we can't live like that, unless you kill everybody, which you could do that too, again. But, that's just, again, that's just my assumption. But, again, this dichotomy that people create between like socialism and capitalism is not real. It's not a real dichotomy. People have both systems all the time in their country. Even China has capitalism. So try to step away from using these terms as just a blanket for these really individual problems. It's a spectrum.
People so
yeah, it's a
upset.
spectrum.
Well, if you step away from your worldview for just 1 minute and look at how perverse the governance in this country has been for the last 50 years, look at how people have voted, how many times they told you they want lower migration, only for you to betray them every single time.
Yeah,
okay?
I mean, if people can't, this is another big issue, is that the reason why, for example, the Boston Tea Party happened and the American Revolution happened is because we couldn't vote to not be represented by King George or whatever the fuck. When a democratic process doesn't work, and it's a big difference, like losing a vote is different than the system not working. But when you vote for something, and then the thing you vote for doesn't happen, well, you shouldn't expect people to just wait around for the next vote. They're gonna lose their fucking minds. Like, I'm totally in favor of using democratic processes like we have in the US, but the issue is that in some cases, especially in countries like, maybe the UK, you vote for something and then they don't do it. And if you don't allow people the democratic ability to solve problems, the democratic means to solve problems, that doesn't mean that they're just going to roll over and take all those problems. It means they're going to find other means that are besides democratic. And that has, in history, never been a good idea. It has never been good. People have died every single time. They'll use
so that's
violence,
why
yeah.
this is happening.
And of course, they have to use violence. Because if you can't solve your problems democratically, you can't be represented. How else can you solve your problems than with violence? Of course that's what you're going to do. Absolutely. You voted for the Reese Epstein files? Who's the full now? Well, I mean, I voted for a lot of things. Trump has done... Well, actually, number one, I didn't vote. Okay, so number one, you're wrong on that categorically. Number two, I would say that overall, I've been very happy with the things that Trump has done. That's the one thing I'm not happy with.
People have had enough. But of course, people in the civil service, people in the government, they just can't see this. They just don't seem to understand it. And so they press on. In fact, 2 days ago at the Britannia Hotel in Canary Wharf at 1:30 in the morning, under the cover of darkness, very sneaky, they bust a load of migrants in, hoping, of course, that nobody would see it.
Well, it's obvious that they know that they're doing something wrong. You don't try to hide your behavior when you're doing something good. I mean, really, that's why, for example, every single time somebody is stealing from charity, they get discovered stealing from charity. And every time someone is donating to charity, they announce that they're donating to charity. Why does nobody, why is it that people aren't hiding donating to charity and they aren't expressing that they're stealing from charity? Well, the reason why is because they're talking about things that make them look good. It's that simple. And everybody knows it.
But someone did see it.
The time is 1:33, the 1st of August.
Uh-oh. Caught, yep.
And guess what? Just 1 day later, they were already trying to leave the hotel on their delivery bikes to work illegally. Fortunately...
Wow, what a surprise!
A couple of patriots stopped them.
I mean, tell me this. Look at this, guys. Look at this, guys. Look at this, guys. Yeah, tell me these ain't delivery drivers. Tell me these ain't delivery drivers, guys.
They're obviously. Yeah.
Oh, shit. There we go.
By the way, this is the most peaceful it will ever be in the next, I think, 10 to 15 years. This is the most pleasant and most peaceful these interactions will ever be.
Georgina, I'm modding you.
It could be a lot faster.
Georgina, message something quickly so I can see your name again.
I kind of hope you're wrong. I mean, it's not about whether I hope or not that I'm wrong. My goal isn't to push something. I think that honestly, they shouldn't be busing them in. They're causing this problem to happen. That's it. They are making this problem happen, and they're making it worse by busing all of these people in. They're trying to hide it because they know that it's bad. Again, they've created this problem themselves. That's it. I mean, it's not like somebody else did this to them. They did it to themselves. You're being a realist? Yeah, I'm just being realistic. I think this is where this is where things are going. It's very obvious this is where things are going. It's the same in Portugal. Yeah, I don't know about Portugal. Can we stop acting like this isn't on purpose or by design? Well, it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, and it's obviously by design because the government obviously decided to do it at a certain time, and they're controlling people for complaining about it. It's very obvious that the leadership in the government wants this to happen for some reason.
Won't surprise you then to know that there are fresh protests outside that hotel today.
Why do they want to do this? We are not far right, but we are not far wrong. Don't gamble with our lives. Stop the boats. This is, I think, what's really going to change things, is when you get women on your side. Because for a long time, one of the biggest weaknesses that a lot of far-right movements have is that they are almost predominantly exclusively men. That is, I think, probably their biggest weakness. And so because of that, a lot of men don't want to support it because they think that it could lower their chances of getting laid. That's what's going on. You need the Karens. And I think that especially with these rape gangs and the government trying to hide them and like cover them up, I think that this has converted enough Karens to where men now will openly support it because they're not worried about losing sexual marketplace value. I know this sounds like a very like weird way of saying it, but I think this is what's happening. I do. Like, this is legitimately where I think things are going. And so as soon as you see enough women that are doing this stuff, like, again, that's the reason why, as I said before, every single girl that's in a witch's shop or a crystal shop is probably a hot goth girl. It's because no guy wanted to tell her that it was bullshit because he didn't want to ruin his chances. That's the reason why. Why are hot girls crazy? Because guys put up with it. They don't put up with it with crazy ugly girls. Absolutely not. It's just how it is. Yep.
Look, I think you get the picture. This is happening all over the country, and it's just going to grow and grow and grow. People are angry. True. And quite frankly, it's not that surprising. The government has placed...
It's obvious why people are mad. It's obvious.
People into these communities, in these hotels, despite having access to the statistics which show them that it will put those communities in danger.
It's not even about it being in danger, and they're still using the in danger as an example. And this is going to be the final Overton window shift that's really going to happen. I think it's already beginning to happen, is that people will just openly be racist towards them. And you're already seeing this beginning to happen. But once this happens at like a mass level, and there's especially a few like large voices that normalize that behavior, whenever the narrative of we don't want them because they are this other race of people, we don't want them here, period. Whenever you reach that point, and we are getting very close to it, that's when you know it has reached the point of no return. There is no longer going to be a diplomatic solution to this. There will no longer be the possibility to reconcile differences. That's it. Yeah, y'all are such victims. I'm telling you, like, this is what's going to happen. Yeah, they are racist themselves. Well, what I'm saying is that being called racist is something that a lot of people are afraid of. The moment that people are not afraid of it, things will change a lot. I think that you can look at a microcosm for that with trans. Criticizing trans in like 2021 or 2022 would get you deplatformed. Now, it's people's entire platform. That's it. And nowadays, and also as soon as that happened, look at how much negative trans stuff there is. It's massively popular. Transphobic term no longer matters now? Yeah, because people don't care about it. And so I think trans is like a very minor example of the same thing that's going to happen with a lot of these other movements too. People are starting to become comfortable with them being called racist more and more. Exactly. There's no diplomatic solution or acceptable way of replacing white people. Well, I don't think any group of people wants to be replaced. There's nothing unique about white people in this circumstance. And I don't even think that like it's necessarily about the... There's a lot of like different components to it. I mean, there's a racial component to it. There's a religious component to it. A lot of them are Islamic. Obviously, like, Britain is like, you're traditionally like a, Christian country. You have cultural elements to it, which like tie into religion. There's like economic reasons too. There's all of these things are like compounding on each other. It's not just one thing, it's all of them.
And yet they did it anyway. Remember, the first duty of government is to protect its citizens.
That's exactly. That's what I've always said. And this is the reason why I don't support any of this.
People that they're putting in hotels, not citizens. The people that they're endangering, citizens. So our government...
It's crazy how, like, this guy... Like, I'm going to link you guys this video. I haven't even finished it. I'm going to link you guys the video. Give it a like. This guy's great. It's such an obvious common sense perspective that I wish more people would say it.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's totally right. There's the video. Yeah, give the guy a like. He's only got 69,000 subscribers.
has failed in its basic first duty. There's no other way of putting it. There's no other way around it. That's it. And as Douglas Carswell says...
Yeah. So somebody said, why do you, what is this here? Why do you care so much about Christianity when you're an atheist? I'm going to, should I ban this person? I'm not going to ban you, but I'm going to time you out. I never said that I did. That was never the point that I ever said. I was talking about Britain. Britain is traditionally a Christian country. Bringing in people of another religion changes that demographic. This is an objective fact. This isn't me advocating a position. It's just simply true. It's the same as Saudi Arabia is traditionally an Islamic country. And I would assume that if you brought a bunch of people there that were Hindu or Jewish or Christian, they might not like that because it would change their demographics. That's it. Like, it's not about what I like or what you like. It's about what is and isn't. That's it. It's very simple. I mean, it's not complicated.
They're going to realize at some point that they cannot contain this for much longer. Anyway, that's just a short video covering these protests. And I felt like I really had to do it because while some of you will see this on social media and you'll be more clued up about what's going on up and down the country, you know, the BBC aren't going to talk about this. Sky News
This is another reason why I talk about it on my stream, is that I know that a lot of the mainstream media publications don't actually give these people fair coverage. It's the same reason why I talk about people like Nick or anybody else, even left-wing people that are extreme, because I think that these people oftentimes in media don't really get a fair shake. And because of that, I tried to do it myself, because if I don't do it, it seems like nobody else will. And the only other people that try to talk about them are people that are just glazers or people that are effectively propagandists for their point of view.
And talk about this unless it turns violent, and then they'll just make it all about far-right protests and riots. Okay, that's all they'll discuss.
Yeah.
The peaceful protests, they won't make it to the mainstream media's attention. So that's why we do it here. There's one other thing I want to...
Do you think that things will swing so far to the right we'll get segregation level stuff again? No. There won't be a need for segregation. That's what I think. I think that they will remove the majority of them, and there won't be a need for it. That's what I think. That's what I think will happen. I think it will radicalize people so much that they will be that extreme. As I said, I think that the outcome for this will be worse than World War II.
I refer to myself as English a lot, not British, which is ironic, I know, because my name is British Lander. And I don't want people who are Welsh or Scottish or Ulsterman to take some kind of offense from that. It's just
everybody says, yeah, that's bad. What, Lamau? No, bro. Clip what I'm saying. Clip it, ship it, save it, keep it, hold on to it, and wait for it.
I'm starting to reject the idea of British. Not that I reject the Welsh, the Scottish, and the Northern Irish. Far from it. But British nowadays just seems to mean anybody in the world who is, you know, waiting for a passport, right? It's just ridiculous. We've got British Indians, British Pakistanis, British Nigerians, British everything. But the one thing that cannot be taken away from me, that is entirely unique, that cannot be granted with a passport, is my Englishness. You're either English or you're not. So Rishi Sunak, I don't hate Rishi Sunak, okay? I don't think he was a great Prime Minister, but let's be honest, he was passed a bit of a hospital pass by Boris Johnson. But Rishi Sunak, he's not English. He's an anglicised Indian. He's a British Indian.
Somebody says you're watching a radicalized dude. If you think this is a radicalized dude, you are in for a really bad time. I don't think you understand how bad of a time that you are in for. Man, I spend a lot of time. Racists always lose. Confederacy, Hitler, all of them are fucking bitches. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know. I mean, in a lot of cases, I think that, yeah. in some cases, it's true, for sure.
But he's not English, okay? I am English, and that can't be taken away from me. So if someone comes to me and says, you know, I see myself as Scottish, not British, really, I'm completely okay with that. I don't take any offense from that. But the other thing I'll say is the English identity, more than Welsh or Scottish or Northern Irish, has been stripped away from us and dumbed down in a way that I don't think the other parts of the kingdom really understand.
I don't, yeah.
You know, we've been told that our flag is inherently bad and racist and we should be ashamed of it. And
if you have people that say, dude, oh man. Oh, geez. Yeah, this is going to be bad. God, just like the USA. Yeah. And told this by nobody, by the way. Well, no, I've seen people saying stuff like that. Absolutely, they have. Yeah, of course. This is a stupid view, though. British is a nationality like American. It can mean anyone, even if he admits it represents Welsh, Scottish, and Irish from the start. I think that really, and this is another part, this is another shift of the Overton window that I think is going to be coming. And this is, I don't think that you're going, I think that you can still probably prevent this from happening, but I don't think that it will. There is absolutely a racial identity component around this, but people don't feel comfortable discussing it yet. I think that maybe in 5, maybe less years, they will be able to talk about that. But right now, I think people are still kind of messaging around it in the same way that, so this is a good parallel that I can draw with this, is that, do you remember back in like 2016 where, you know, Trump wasn't talking about sending every single illegal immigrant back and, you know, doing these ICE raids into Home Depot and everything? He wasn't saying that. Like, that was actually a very unpopular opinion because the window of cultural politics didn't accept the idea of just literally deporting everybody, right? He was building a wall, but he wasn't saying he's going to throw everybody out. In less than 10 years, that has not only shifted to becoming an acceptable opinion, but it is the majority opinion held by most adults. That is in less than 10 years. So yeah, as soon as, and Sebekan, thank you for 20 gifted subs, I appreciate that. And so it became the norm. Yes, exactly, right? And that's, I don't think it's necessarily a racial thing so much as a cultural thing. It's a racial thing. It is. It's both. But it is.
Things like that. And it's just ridiculous. I am starting to see some good things coming out of the country. Apparently one English guy in Birmingham was told to take down his St. George's flag, his English flag, and then he bought 100 more and plastered them all over the city. So I love that. And apparently people are painting roundabouts with the English flag. It's great. I really, really love to see that. So when I refer to myself as English, I'm not doing that to offend the Scottish or the Welsh or the Northern Irish. It's just that I am English, okay? I'm very, very proud of that, and nobody can take that away from me or misuse the term, although they will try sometimes, but nobody can remove that quality from me in the same way they can't take away your actual Scottishness or your Welshness or your Northern Irishness, your Ulstermanness, okay? I just want to make that clear. I don't want to offend anybody. Anyway, please do leave a like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. I'll try and reply to quite a lot of comments. Yesterday I had a bit of a family emergency, not going to talk about it, I'm totally fine. In fact, everyone's totally fine in the end, but I had to go to the hospital right as I was replying to comments. So I didn't manage to reply to as many as I usually do, so I'm sorry about that, but I'll make an effort to make up for it today. And yeah, I'll see you in a future video. Thank you very much.
I think this was a really good video. I feel like it was pretty clean. It was a 9-minute video. I feel like it was kind of longer because I kept going off on tangents constantly. There's the video. Make sure to give it a like. The guy's only got 69,000 subscribers. And so, yeah, that's it. Just a bit ago, the police banned the protest in front of the hotel. Yeah, I didn't even see that. I have no idea about this. But I think that in the UK, this is kind of what's happening. And proud of even where you're from is legit. Encouragement to racism, nationalism. Yeah, and I think that that's where things are going to go. Yeah, there it is. Let me see if I can look at a few more of these. So many people are sick these days, you need an appointment to wait 3 months now? Well, that's another reason why people don't want the migration, is that if you already have social service systems that are overwhelmed, the last thing that you need is more people to come in and clog them up. That's really the problem. And so, yeah, this is a reaction, in my opinion. I think it's a reaction. Yeah, the channel's name is British Lander. I'll probably watch more of his videos. This is a good one. I think that what he was saying is definitely accurate. And ultimately, they're outbreeding us. You've typed that now 7 times. I didn't read it the first time because I didn't really care about the conversation. It was a stupid conversation. And it's already been covered multiple times. You just kept spamming the same thing in order to get a response. Again, asking the same question over and over will not get you an answer. It will get you a ban. It's just, it's annoying. Like, that's all. Like, and I understand you want to talk and have your opinions on this, but it just doesn't, that doesn't work on me. And I can't let it work on me, or my entire chat will be just spamming the same question over and over. And so, yeah, they banned protesting just now. Well, let me go back and see this. And so, the UK protest ban, UK protest ban. This is what tyranny looks like. Okay. The government in the UK can take away your right to... Wait a second. Sorry, let me just open this one up so I can read the whole thing. In the government, the UK, the government can take away your right to peacefully protest. This happened today when they deployed Section 42A order, meaning the people must disperse from an area for 28 days after causing alarm and distress. The people are protesting against having a hotel in their local area filled with illegal immigrants, putting their moms, sisters, and daughters in danger. Man. And this just happened? Oh boy. They already did that, the summer holidays over? Yeah, I'm not sure. We need to completely cut off all funds to their countries? Well, I have no idea. And let's see if I can find this here. And it'll just build more frustration. And have they tried banning rape gangs? Oh, well, they tried banning guns, and then people use knives. Now they're trying to ban knives. And by the way, I'm literally being serious. That's actually what's happening. Take a look at this.
Victoria Police Headquarters on Spencer.
Victoria, this is Australia, so it's pretty much the same thing. It's just another white people country that's not America.
Outside the Victoria Police Headquarters on Spencer Street, a purpose-built bin for a weapon wreaking havoc.
Wow.
This is very important. Those knives, those machetes, create enormous damage.
Come September 1, it will be illegal to own a machete, and this is where Victorians are being asked to drop them off.
How do people in Australia tolerate the reality that you can't own a machete? That is insane. In the outback. Oh my God. Why don't they just put the people in jail that are causing the problems? LMFAO, right? Yeah, this is... Isn't it nuts? What the fuck is going on? Like, yeah, I have like 5 machetes.
During an amnesty period that will run until November 30.
Machete amnesty safe disposal bin. Oh my God.
30.
We've done this because we want to get these knives off the streets, because these knives destroy lives.
Outside...
Two groups of people. Oh man, isn't that crazy? And so here we go, there's another one here. Police have imposed a 28-day protest ban outside the Britannia International Hotel Asylum Center in Canary Wharf, saying it caused alarm and distress. And so these are the people? Yeah. Uh-oh. This is a Karen horde? Well, yeah.
And I'm kindly telling you no. No, sir.
But again, I do think that one of the reasons why, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of leftist movements are so strong, is because they're supported primarily by women, and men are sympathetic to those movements in order to signal that they are interested in those women or to get closer to those women. And I think that you can look at like a lot of the examples of this. Like, remember that one like content creator guy, like that fucking Harry whatever the fuck, who was like texting like 7 different girls all the time. This is the reason why they do it. Not really. They're mostly authoritarian. Well, no. I think that actually it's a lot of guys do it in order to get closer to chicks. Like, how many of you guys, let me just ask you a question. How many of you guys have nerfed your politics whenever you're talking to a girl because you wanted to increase your chances of getting with her? That's a lot of me's. That's enough me's for what I'm saying to be true. This is a legitimate thing. That's wild. I would never. I'm not saying to do it. I'm saying this is just what's happening. Man. Uh-oh. So they're getting removed now? So the police are trying to get them all to leave now because they're protesting outside of this. Oh, geez. Yeah, they're banning legitimate peaceful protest over and over again, failed to deliver an election promise. Yeah, this is not going to end well. Well, yeah, I don't think that it will either.
There's a section 42. Section 42 in place.
It's like laggy. I'm not going to look at this one.
42. Section 42 in place of the 2001. You're causing distress or harm to the resident of this hotel. Yeah? You have to leave now. And
you can't protest peacefully. That's fucked. Yeah, well, this is the thing, is that if you make it to where people can't protest, and, like, I mean, you know, this is, again, like, if you look at these people, they're not breaking cars, they're not burning down Teslas, they're not jumping on Waymos, they're just simply sitting in front of the hotel doing nothing. There's nothing wrong with what they're doing here at all. And so, yeah, they're just sighing. Exactly. Riots will happen. Yes, and if you don't let people protest, you're going to get riots. Absolutely. And you can see there's a lot of people, obviously, that are just kind of getting more and more extreme in general. And, yeah, as long as 3 protests banned in the last 24 hours. Yeah, they've done this a lot, apparently, it seems. And so, yeah, that's where things are right now. It is wrong. They're way too peaceful. I mean, the thing is that won't last, though, is that I think that, like, the more that this goes on, the more extreme and the more radical people will be. Riots incoming in 1 week? Maybe, right? I'll be right back. I need to use the bathroom. Give me a second. It's time for a revolution? I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I do think things are going to get more extreme. It's definitely happened for sure. And I never thought I'd see good Karens, damn. Well, again, it's you're going to have, if you have these people on your side, it's better than having them against you. Don't be biased. On the LA riots, you said police should take them off the road. Same thing here. Yeah, of course they shouldn't be on the road obstructing traffic. Absolutely. Yeah, sure. That's fine. But I think protesting on the side of the road or protesting in front of the hotel is totally okay. Yeah, I mean, oh yeah, that's a gotcha, by the way. That is a gotcha. Let me see if I can find him and ban him. Where's it? Oh yeah, there it is. Okay, yeah, there we go. And he's sitting in the middle of the road, for fuck's sake. Yeah, it's clearly he's playing that game, right? If anybody ever goes and does the, well, you said this one thing in this different situation, and I'm gonna compare it to this situation, so now you're wrong. If you do that, you're gone. I'm sorry to say, you're gone. Who here wants to fuck up their life with gambling? Me, I do? Great. Awesome. You're in the right place.
Gambling sponsors are now targeting predominantly young men through esports.
Yes.
And today, Riot Games is basically about to make the whole thing much worse. But just so this is in context, This is the same industry that's linked to a 25% rise in US bankruptcy filings. So that's
right.
lovely. And young men in low-income regions are the hardest hit population group. So with that in mind, now we get to talk about how the biggest name in esports has just opened the goddamn floodgates. In short, Riot Games is allowing betting sponsors into League of Legends and into Valorant. And by making this move, they give every other esports league justification to follow. Basically, these companies know exactly who they are reaching, and now they have a direct pipeline. Here's the change. Sports betting sponsorships are coming to pro teams in North America, Europe, and the Middle East. Now, Riot first considered this in December 2024, but now the president, John Needham, has published this lovely blog post.
What happened is that the culture has changed. And culturally, what's happened ever since 8 or 7 years ago when sports betting was legalized in America is that betting has become increasingly more normalized, and the inclusion of betting into everyday life has been almost totally seamless. Like, if you're watching sports, apparently, you're constantly getting fed ads for DraftKings. If you're watching any sort of competitive activity, there's some form of betting and gambling that's happening on this. It is massive. It is a gigantic fucking industry. And I would assume that probably trillions of dollars are wagered every single year on sports betting because of it. No one cares if every kid is an addict. Well, like, and that's the thing, is that kids watch sports. Like, I don't think that Riot is really a unique evil for this. Like, if the NBA does it, why are we getting mad at Riot when the NBA does it? I mean, that's my opinion.
What's happening and why they're doing it, plus how they plan to minimize risk. Now, you might be wondering, why now? And their justification is fairly simple. They say the teams have been asking for gambling sponsors for years.
Just real quick. More examples of blue chip brands being an unstable form of sponsorship. If esports and pro gaming wants to rely on outside money, they should embrace porn, gambling, and alcohol sponsors. This is over a month before Riot made this announcement. Everybody knew it. It was obvious.
Thank you, because it's a lot of money.
Appreciate
and audiences are already gambling. And here's the scale. League and Valorant generate 10.7 billion in gambling. But there is a problem.
That's a lot of money.
And that problem is that 70% of those bets are happening in unregulated bookies. And the unregulated part is what bothers Riot. Now, they say it's unsafe because people may lose money because these sites can be unscrupulous. And that absolutely is a risk. Of course, the other side is...
No, it's bullshit. They're just doing it so the companies and the teams can still make money. Because the teams aren't making money. Esports teams are shutting down all over the place. Esports was a massive bubble, and venture capitalists pumped millions of dollars into it for 10 years. And now the bubble is popped, and people realize that, at least in the West, and this is another big issue, is that in the West, this is true. In the East and in places in South America, it's not true.
You know, people losing absolute humongous amounts of money via traditional gambling, working as intended. Here's the basic logic they're using. So, you know how teenagers will be tempted to drink alcohol? So you might think it's better to give them something light under supervision rather than have them, I don't know, drink Tesco value vodka.
That's exactly what we did in middle school.
Field somewhere. But the question, right, is that by legitimizing it, by making it more normal, giving it way more exposure, will you reduce the average damage done per individual, but actually cause far more harm overall because you've just went and...
This allowance of having gambling websites will cause the amount of suicides that happen because of gambling to go up. This will happen. Now, again, I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it, but don't do it and try to hold a moral high ground. People kill themselves over gambling all the time. Now, you could say that's Darwinism and you get what you deserve, but it still happens. Natural selection, sure. But at the same time, it is real.
Expanded the market to way more people by making it easier to access. And would that actually
And also, as soon as you introduce people to the world of gambling, you're going to have people that will move to unregulated markets because you've already done the beginning work of getting them into the entire ecosystem in the first place. So this argument defeats itself.
ran over time, then you'd start to find more really, really bad problem gambling cases, because basically you're going to reach way more people, and that means way more people who could potentially fall into problem gambling. That's certainly my worry, but first, let's take a look at what this will actually look like in esports. A fun thing about this is Riot absolutely knows how this can be bad luck and all of the potential problems, so there is a degree of...
It doesn't matter anymore, because gambling has been socially accepted to the degree that this is normalized. It used to be a big deal, and everybody would hate gambling, but now it's been so normalized, and so many people have been paid off to be okay with it, that it's just the way it is. That's it. Like, they've actually won.
Vision from them.
Straight up.
They will personally vet every single sponsor.
Doesn't matter.
They also say they'll make sure that partnered betting services are using Riot-approved data, which will mean that nobody gets actively manipulated. But there is a bit more. Teams are going to have to self-regulate their partnerships, and Riot's going to demand that each team makes an internal integrity program. You know, so that they can investigate themselves. And as for what that's
This is all bullshit.
To be, Riot says, a self...
Like, Riot is making the right call, and if I was Riot, I would also allow gambling sponsors. But them doing all this is just them trying to look like they have the moral high ground. There is no moral high ground when you're allowing and promoting gambling. People will, guaranteed, people will see the advertisements from the teams that are playing in whatever league tournament that you're looking at. They will see those advertisements, they will go on those websites, and that will be the first step in a long journey that ends in them killing themselves. This will undoubtedly happen. Anybody who thinks that's not going to happen is delusional. And they know it. That's why they're trying to add in all of this extra language. And I understand, like, again, this is the problem. Like, again, you could just say you don't give a fuck. Who cares, right? They kill themselves. Who gives a fuck? Fuck them. That's fine. But Riot doesn't want to do that. So they want to play, oh, well, we still care, and we're going to have all this integrity, and get the fuck out of here. It's obviously what you're doing. Do you want to bet on that? No, because I know I'd win.
Find policy for selecting sponsorships. I don't know, it doesn't seem like the highest bar on the earth to me. Teams can be held to this, though, by Riot and by fans, so you can see why they want to do this. You know, it's kind of like a PR incentive thing. And it's all designed to keep bad actors out of things. And of course, money is going to be trickled down, just like how many gambling policies work.
That's
Riot
correct.
say that they'll take a portion of the revenue, and they say they'll invest that in Tier 2 esports programs. So the implication, basically, is that these sponsors will become preferred betting partners, and in theory, that's safer than unregulated bookies, and that basically money from all of this is going to go into, like, the more grassroots side of esports. So really, dear gamer, all of this gambling is, in fact, good for you. Brackets, it's going to make all of us a shitload of money. But here's the thing. With how Riot are doing this, they are absolutely being cowardly, right? Because they've not fully committed to this. If Riot had have simply said, look, we want sport betting in our league as a part of the financial ecosystem, then they could have said that, you know, maybe just like any other advertising thing. But instead, no, they are hedging their bets. You see, they still insist that gambling is...
Well, they did that because they're afraid of the pushback. They don't know what the sentiment and the feedback from their player base is going to be for this. And so they left themselves a back door in case, or like an exit strategy, in case this had a really big backlash. But it didn't have a big backlash, so they're probably going to full commit on it. That's what happened.
Bad, right? I mean, otherwise, why ensure that it's...
checking if the pushback would outweigh the potential gains. Yes, of course.
Not officially connected. And even after vetting, well, just take a look at this. Riot-owned broadcast and social channels have got to stay betting free. That means no ads.
Wait, what does this mean? No ads, no sponsored segments. Okay.
Free. That means no ads, it means no sponsored segments from betting partners, and it means no betting partner logos on team jerseys. So that's quite funny when you think about it. It is putting the pressure on everyone else. Official streams, absolutely no gambling. So who's going to get stuck with it? Well, I think the answer is fairly obvious, and we know that it's the team owners who really, really wanted this. So they're going to have to figure out where to put their contractually obligated sponsor content, and almost certainly that means pressure on players.
That's right. Players are going to have to promote these gambling sponsorships a lot. And again, I don't feel bad for them at all. Nobody is entitled to making a living playing League of Legends. If your business model is not financially viable, you have to do something different. That's just the way it is.
Doing things like event host streams. And those are actually not small numbers. As an example, co-casters of the 2024 World...
They're already targeting teens? Well, yeah, of course. It's best to target kids because kids are stupid, number one. Number two, if you get kids into the practice of gambling early, then by the time that they're adults, then you can fully take advantage of them and farm them for as much money as possible. It's kind of like, there's a chicken farm, like a cattle farm. Like, you don't kill the cattle whenever they're fucking calves. You wait for them to get into cows, you milk them for a while, and then you kill them. Like, that's how it works. Yeah, they grow onto the market. Yes, that's you literally farm them. Yeah, of course.
Made up 87.
That's why gambling. That's why they keep trying to push gambling to the youngest audience possible. Because that is the audience that will have the least barriers in their mind against it.
500,000 hours, which is 45% of all event streams. So that's actually huge. Now, teams are going to have to walk quite the tightrope here. Basically, they've got to navigate platform policies and local laws. And as they do all of that, Riot will be raking in cash for permitting this. So the takeaway...
but when kids realize how bad gambling screws you up from an early age, they might stay away from it in adulthood. That's what happened to me whenever I lost everything multiple times when staking on RuneScape. Yeah, you're definitely right. But do you really think that these companies haven't done research on this? Yeah, I mean, like, grooming works in every single other circumstance, but you think that for some reason gambling, it's not going to work? Really? Did it work for cigarettes? Yeah, it did. That's why they had to outlaw flavored cigarettes, because they were marketed towards children. Yeah, it did.
It's quite a funny one. Riot Games thinks that betting ads are okay, but only if they're from chosen partners, and they don't think they're okay if they've got to advertise it themselves.
Yes.
Say, by a team having a logo on a jersey,
That's right.
and that team going to an event that they broadcast.
I think that they will probably relax this rule once the social pressure against gambling becomes normalized. So they're like easing people into gambling. I think that in 1 year, they won't have the names on the jerseys, but maybe in 5 or 10 years, they will. Because at that point, it will be normalized inside of the space, and that inclusion will not be as dramatic. So this, yeah, you're doing it in stages in order to make people not get upset. Because they're managing their own PR at the same time. This is what I would do if I were them.
Just quite weird, and it does look rather cowardly, like they're kind of trying to have it both ways.
If
it doesn't seem convincing to you, well, it doesn't seem convincing to me, and I don't think it should to either of us.
Still have names in a
It's
year?
no surprise that the public reaction here has been absolute skepticism at every level. So with it looking so strange, why do Riot and these teams think that this is the way forward? The answer is very, very simple.
Money.
Guaranteed money.
Money,
Who doesn't want some guaranteed money? Essentially, esports groups have not really had that much guaranteed money lately. The esports winter started ages ago, and it's still
This is
happening.
2022.
We're seeing layoffs, we're seeing closures. Now, Saudi Arabian wealth has somewhat helped because, they want to do some...
And you also have Saudi Arabia. These are all these... I wonder if Tracer is gay in Saudi Arabia. I bet she's not. I've got a feeling that she's not. And again, Blizzard Entertainment, one of the most virtue signal companies of the entire world, sent their fucking Overwatch, that is like their prime example of how open-minded and progressive they are, and their inclusion. The Overwatch World Cup is in the Middle East. It's in a country where there are multiple restrictions on being trans, being gay, or doing anything like that. These companies do not care about these social issues if it costs them money. Isn't it ironic? No, it's not. It's obvious. Anybody who thought these companies really cared about them was just a retard.
Gotten the word of it, but
That's
when
it.
you launder your reputation through sports, it's a very well-known thing. And obviously, Saudi
As these companies have teams of child psychologists to know how to market to a kid, how is that not criminal? Because there's not a law against it. That's one. Saudi Arabia expands its sports watching ambitions to the world of gaming. They are. And they will succeed in this. They already are succeeding. Like, do you remember whenever Miz and Emmy got a bunch of hate in 2021 or 22 for thinking about taking a sponsorship for Saudi Arabia? And, like, everybody was furious at them for it, and then they got bullied out of not doing it? Can you imagine that happening today? I can't. It's because it's been normalized. That's why. And it's going to continue getting more and more normalized every single year. For instance, Saudi Arabia loves esports. Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, I think MBS is great. I mean, he killed like a journalist or something like that. I heard some bullshit about that, but like that's like one guy, right? Overall, I think he's great.
He has got its own ethical concerns. So with all that floating around, basically, this is more consistent revenue from an industry that's desperate to expand and is desperate for consistent revenue. But of course, this is all happening in a way everybody that benefits Riot, does not benefit viewers. How many viewers would never have touched gambling before this? I don't know, but it's
if the number is the same, then they wouldn't get any gambling sponsors. It's very logical. Advertisers are not going to spend money on something that they're not going to get anything out of. The reason why they're spending money to advertise in League of Legends is because they're going to make money.
Probably a lot, and what Riot have done is they've opened the door for that to happen, right? By normalizing it. And this doesn't even address some of the wider problems. Take a look at all of those gacha-based cosmetics that Riot rolls out, and I'm sure you've seen the headlines, right? Of like $350 to get like the big event skin. Well, funnily enough, a lot of people would say that that's kind of like the same as gambling. I mean,
no, it's not. It's not even remotely close. When you are gambling on skins in a video game, you never have the idea of chasing your losses. Most people gamble because they lose all of their money, and they lose all of their money, and then they try to get more money to get their money back, and then they lose that too, and this happens X amount of times, and then they kill themselves. Gambling in a video game for items is not the same thing fundamentally, because chasing losses is the reason why people kill themselves primarily. Every dollar spent in Wuthering Waves, Genshin Impact, or the Riot Gacha boxes, you know you're never getting out of that game. You're never getting it back, you're never getting it out, it's never getting better, it's always gonna be like that. That's bleak? No, but it's true though, right? It's true. So that means it's not as bad. Gambling in video games for items isn't as bad as gambling for real money, because you don't have the ability to make your money back, so there's no ability for you to chase your losses, which is one of the main things that causes people to go into gambling debt and to ruin their lives. That's the reason. That you know it's true? Yeah, of course. It's obvious.
Sure, you can't cash out, but it's probability-based bullshit to get an item that you want. Well, now they would be feeding that sort of audience, one that they're cultivating with all these gacha mechanics, directly into betting companies. Yep. You know, so I feel like if there's people who are going to be problematic with gacha and get themselves into bother, there's probably a lot of crossover with people who will get themselves into gambling bother. And financial trouble from gambling hits young men in low-income regions the hardest. It's
because they're stupid and they don't know math. And also, they're desperate. The only way that they have to make money in a way that's not completely, like they don't have any education. Like, I mean, again, like if you're living in a poor area, the odds are that you probably don't have access to education. You're probably stupid. You don't understand statistics. You don't get math. And so when your friend tells you that they made money on a gambling website, you don't understand how to contextualize that because you went to a shitty school that couldn't even teach you algebra. That's the way it is. And so it's easier to farm stupid people. That's how it is.
Stuff. right? And studies
That's
do
just
suggest that, of course, that is the exact demographic that is also the most likely to bet on esports.
Absolutely.
The case you can make for this leading to a lot of problems is, I think, pretty compelling. I mean, it's targeting the same group
It's
that is...
undeniable. It's undeniable. Anybody who's trying to make excuses for this is just doing mental gymnastics. Accept the human sacrifices and enjoy them. Don't try to pretend like they aren't happening.
Proven to show more problem gambling behavior than other groups. And then, of course, there's the risk to athletes themselves. And this is something that's not commonly thought about. Now, of course, esports people, they'll face match-fixing allegations as, in traditional sports.
Yep.
But now there's an entire new type of hostility. Because when somebody loses a bet on one of these sites, on the team that promoted that betting site, that anger can now go straight to the players. Blame can go straight to the players. And that's not me speculating. This is the actual experience of athletes in physical sports. And it's one that's gotten far worse with micro-betting and app-based gambling that just, well, make it far easier to engage in all that shit. Here's a really fun quote. A December study by 4 of the biggest tennis federations in the world found that angry gamblers were responsible for nearly half of the 12,000 abusive social media...
There's no way it's only half. There's no way. I bet it's like 95%. There's no way it's only half? Get out of here.
Media posts directed at tennis players that year. So that's, not great. And all of this is before we talk about how gambling changes the culture. And of course, in this context, it's changing the culture around our games. And that, of course, can hurt how our games are made and designed. We can begin this whole game gambling thing with the very obvious black market of CSGO skins, right? So skin gambling is already fairly entrenched. But these companies, they crave something more. They crave legitimacy. And Riot Games just gave them that.
That's true.
You see, gambling groups and online casinos have tried to break into gaming.
Bro, he's up to 6,000 to spend? Oh my god. $6,000 to spend? That's insane!
For years and years and years. And we've seen this in many ways, like, say, press sites getting flooded with sponsored post offers. I actually got loads of sponsored post offers from similarly...
He won $37 million. Now he's only 50 million down.
Sketchy shit that, of course, I declined because I don't want to promote gambling to people. But the whole point in all of this is about normalizing the advertising of gambling. Right? Getting it in front of an audience who are familiar with the idea of playing odds. And we can take a look at this already happening. For one, the Escapist immediately began running ads after being sold. And those ads included best offshore casinos for US players.
Ah, how about that? Wow, what a surprise. Who could have expected this? Besides everybody.
And best online casinos in the US. Lovely stuff. Meanwhile, Aftermath covered the Adventure Games Forum sale. This is wild. 20 years of archives were purged, but do you know what was added? Gambling coverage with advertising. Lovely. So, it's not about the games. It's not about gaming culture. It's about getting gambling in front of more eyes. So it's normalized. That's one piece of the puzzle. Get more people to see gambling in the context of gaming.
And this is also another big issue, is that normalizing behavior is really important. Like, so there's another example of this is like Twitch streamers with advertising. So with advertising and doing sponsored streams, doing a sponsored stream used to be worse than saying the N-word. But now I think it's so normalized that nobody cares. It doesn't even matter anymore. And so, like, if you normalize it enough, it becomes just the way it is. It's the same as having ads on the internet now. Tell us what stops you from gambling. I just think it's rigged, and so like that's it. And yeah, that's, I mean, like, you have a machine, the machine never runs out of money, but the people always run out of money. Huh? How? Come on.
Piece of the puzzle? Well, that's to make it legitimate. To make it legitimate, to make it feel legitimate, you gotta get someone like Riot on board. And that is exactly what Riot have been seemingly happy to do. Okay, I'll turn the focus back to Riot. Now, on
I
this
don't
channel,
think that they wanted to do this. I think that they had to do this in order to maintain their esports program. Because the esports teams probably can't make any money, and they have to effectively turn to the dark side. You tried selling potatoes, it didn't work. You tried selling cheese, not that much cheese. You tried selling hamburgers, McDonald's was better. But have you ever tried selling crack? There's where the money is. Oh, yeah.
we've extensively covered Riot's financial concerns, and because of all that, we do kind of know why they're approving this. Now, teams, of course, need to survive the esports winter. That's very important for Riot.
It's not a winter, because a winter is a season. This is the beginning of the end. Western players and Western culture doesn't accept esports in a big way. There's no like the idea of a winter means that spring will come. There's no reason to expect spring will ever come.
Right, it's important to the whole business model, the culture around their game, the culture that drives all those skin sales. Now, of course, Riot gets a cut of that
game. What about Asia?
guaranteed
I'm not
revenue,
talking about Asia.
but they're not comfortable with this decision, or else they wouldn't have framed it as being a risky thing. They wouldn't have banned it.
No, they are comfortable with the decision. They are worried about the PR from the decision.
From official streams. They also know the players won't like it.
And they will also probably reverse part of this as it becomes normalized inside of the space over time, because other companies, now that other companies see Riot doing it, now they're going to do it. And I'll give you a great example. A lot of people didn't like going to Kick. They didn't like the idea of going to Kick. Then I went to Kick. I joined right here. You gotta stroke his ego. This isn't the ego, this is just the truth. You could say you kick things into high gear. Tectone was first. Tectone was first. That's true. You're right. And so anyway, so you jumped on the bandwagon? Yes, I could see that things were changing, and I thought it was the right option, and I knew that me going would not negatively affect me, and I knew that doing it was the right decision for my stream, and I thought that it would change the way that people viewed the website, and I was right about all of those things.
It anyway, and now the
everybody's doing
very much opened, because every competitive esports scene, from the perspective of financial incentives, they all want these sponsors to get a green light.
That's right.
And if this is happening with Riot, right? If Riot can get comfortable and take the flak for being a bit of a first mover, then smaller groups will also move.
Of course.
And that means we are going to be looking at a very different industry in a few years. And frankly, it's an industry that is shown to be a true parasite. And it's one of those things, look, adults can spend money on whatever the hell they want. Sure, right, I absolutely get that. But I think there is a concept that you need to keep in mind whenever we're sort of making like libertarian-rooted arguments. And that is the simple concept of an unpriced negative externality. The point essentially being that, say, gambling, right? That leads to a whole bunch of social problems. Those social problems then, guess what? Cause problems in the community. Now that can mean that the state has got to...
I think you're wrong about League's money. They funded all their games just from League. Valorant's a dead game. TFT's carrying itself. All the other projects are just off of League. The teams making money... I'm talking about the teams making money, not the company making money.
Spend money because it furthers a whole bunch of bad outcomes. Obviously, there's problems within families, problems in the community. Now that is something that we all pay a price for. Do you know who does not really pay a price for that? The gambling companies. It is.
Well, they do, because they lose a person. There's a guy, he used to gamble every day. He'd gamble all of his money, and then one day he kills himself. Well, fuck. Now he's not gambling anymore. What are we going to do? We got to get a new one.
Nice negative externality.
Will somebody think about the gambling companies?
So it's one of those things. Freedom to gamble. Positive freedom. That's one thing. But what about freedom from all of the negative bullshit that stems from gambling, that gambling companies inflict upon us, but do not pay for themselves? What do you think about that? And I mean that in a genuine, open way. Do let me know in the comments. And if you want another video, a nice, spicy, legal one, watch this next.
Oh. Game price manipulation exposed? Really? I would have never guessed. Look at the Valorant player count. It's not dead. I don't even know how to check the player count for that game. I have no idea. Golfer don't sponsor gambling, and they only make money if they're good. If a team can't make money, that's because they suck. I thought there was a massive golfing apparatus that's in Saudi Arabia or the Middle East. Oofy, thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's my understanding, is that there's a huge amount of golfing in the Middle East. I mean, that's not necessarily gambling, but it's other stuff too, right? Sponsor. Yeah, Live Golf. Yeah, Live Golf. Yeah, exactly, right? And so, like, there's a video. Make sure to get Belluar a like on this. I feel like, again, I covered this when it first happened. And so, yeah, this is what's going to keep happening. What real casinos do is they have rewards programs that actually give people money to gamble, free hotel rooms, and other incentives. Yeah, I know that. Like, XQC, bro, like, I guarantee you. I think he even said this. It doesn't matter where he is in the world. If he says, I need to go to Caesar's Palace, a private jet goes to his location and drops him off at the door. Okay? Yes, absolutely. They will do whatever they need to do to get him back in Caesar's motherfucking palace. If this means the penthouse suite, then that's what's going to happen. Hospitality, that's what's going to happen. Free food, 100%. You know it. Big customer, exactly, right? No one in his business is losing money. Somebody's paying for all that. Yeah, 100%. Gambling should be allowed, but it's poor people tax. I think that, again, so this is my viewpoint with a lot of things. I think the world would be a better place if nobody did recreational drugs besides maybe marijuana. I think it would be a better place if nobody drank alcohol. I think it would be a better place if nobody gambled ever. All of these things, I think, are net negatives to society. But I would not make them against the law. Because people have the right to fuck their lives up. The world would be a better place if nobody smoked cigarettes. And women voting? Well, I said that, right? Didn't I? Of course I said that. Yeah, I probably said that 7 times today. And anyway, maybe 19 times. And needed evil. Yeah, what about medicinal cocaine? I don't know about that. Yeah, I'm very good at fucking my life up. Yeah, I guess so. Alcohol kept people alive during famines for years. Yeah, but like, are we really going to talk about that? And like, do you really think that's what I'm talking about? Like, why are you even bringing that up? You know that's not what I'm talking about. You know that's not the point I'm trying to make. Why would you even bring that up? And so anyway, is poker gambling? You can gamble on poker. I mean, poker isn't gambling fundamentally. No, you can play poker without gambling. Absolutely, you can. But you can also play poker and gamble at the same time. Poker is not fundamentally gambling. No, obviously it's not. Everybody knows that. So, yeah, that's basically it. And so, yeah, perfectly capable of fucking up our lives without those things? Yeah, I mean, I certainly have been. And so anyway, you can gamble on anything? Yeah. You want to see Visa and MasterCard stepping in for this because gambling is good for children? Well, it's because it's too big. Let's ban video games are dangerous for people. What about gambling adverts? Oh, those are fine. They do no harm. So about protecting the kids? They don't care about this. And also, gambling is such a big business, it's normal. Normalization of gambling in society as a whole is a net negative. The only thing that, I mean, again, like, there's really no positive to this at all. I mean, I do think that, like, if you gamble and you lose all of your money, I really don't feel bad for you. Like, I don't have any sympathy to people that gamble. And I don't have sympathy to people that get addicted to drugs either. I just don't. Like, I mean, everybody knows crack is bad for you. Everybody knows not to do heroin. Now, like, if you get addicted to it through, like, a pharmaceutical and then, you know, they take it away from you and you turn to, like, getting addicted because of, like, off-market stuff, that's obviously not what I'm talking about. But, like, in general, if you start doing illegal drugs, everybody knows that illegal drugs are bad for you. If you do them, that's your fault. You've decided to do this to yourself. Nobody has done this to you. You have decided to do it. It's the same as gambling. You have decided to gamble. Nobody made you gamble. Nobody forced you into gambling. You decided to do it. And if you don't agree with that, you're not helping the people that are victims. Telling them that it's not their fault does not help them, and it doesn't make their life better at all. It's a choice, and you're still a victim. Maybe the drug, your friends or doctor, maybe yourself. You do it to yourself doesn't mean you're a piece of shit and deserve it. I didn't say you deserved it. When did I say you deserved it? I didn't say that. What I'm saying is that you did it to yourself. If you are addicted to something, there was a point in time where you made a bad decision to probably become addicted to it. Where obviously after you're addicted and you have a chemical dependency on something, clearly that's not always your fault, right? But getting there is. Taking that first step is. You did that to yourself. Uh-oh. Really not looking good for Pirate Software.
There's an update to the Pirate Software drama where an ex-roommate and co-worker exposed what Jason was really doing while working at Blizzard, and was actually Pirate Superior while QA testing on Diablo 3. Now
Oh, he QA tested on D3? You didn't even need to interview an employee. I could have told you he wasn't doing anything.
Whenever I scream about how I had to work with Pirate Software and how he doesn't know shit about fuck, I mean I was directly ordered to deal with him for Diablo 3 testing in QA. I saw his PC screens since he sat in front of me. I had to assign, review, and redo his tasks.
He would just kind of create a character and idle in the client and then redirect it. That's literally what he did. He sat in front of me and I was assigning the tasks.
Yeah, let me guess. He was assigned to the Wasps in Act 2, right? Yeah, bro, Thor fucked up. I love the game, but man, it was bad.
Reddit all day, ignoring tasks.
Wait, so he was just on Reddit all day?
He was just browsing Reddit all day, ignoring tasks, and actively holding the team back. But when
he definitely was assigned to Act 2. Oh my god. I knew it.
She and others tried to escalate the issue, the higher-ups basically said that they can't do anything about it because his dad was an executive at the company. But the worst part was when Jason ended up being Cynthia's roommate, because apparently living with Pirate Software was such a nightmare that shortly after him moving in, her apartment was a disaster, she was asking him to leave early, and while cleaning up the mess that he left behind, Cynthia said that his walls were covered in either snot or some other gooey
I had to clean everything by hand. There was, like, I don't know what on the walls in his bedroom. I don't know if it was snot or something else, just like wiped here and there on the walls.
He tried to mark his territory. The idea that there was a person that worked on QA for Diablo 3 that didn't do anything, that spent their entire time on Reddit and didn't do any of their tasks, I don't need evidence for that. I already believe it. Instantaneously. Yep, of course this is happening.
I didn't get this deep. Stop feeding into it. All of the accounts that are messaging me are getting reported. There's a funny fact about this. I worked at Blizzard for 7 years. There's a whole lot of other people there that still know me, and all of these reports are going directly to them. They're well aware of the situation, and everybody who's messaging me, they're going to get read. It's kind of a dumbass thing to do, and I can't wait for all of them to get banned.
So this has been...
I've been called out by a huge YouTuber, Whistling Diesel. He says, "You're not the brightest bulb, are you?" When responding to my video where I talk about his flirting with day trading, where he made a video claiming to turn 10K into 1 million to prove people are lazy. And he says in the video description, "I wanted to create a series showing people that hate money how truly possible it is to make money and joy." So, we're gonna talk about this because apparently I have been epically trolled. This is according to his big response on Instagram. Did I genuinely just troll CoffeeZilla? I don't think I've seen anyone bite every hook I've cast. This is amazing. He didn't include any of my screenshots I've sent him. Wouldn't that be proper journalism? Time to show Steven Findenstein why I have 9.99 million subscribers. Guys, watch out. Mr. 9.99 is coming at us. Big time with both barrels. So I want to go through, we're going to go through all our text messages together, which by the way, are linked in the main video, have been from the very beginning. We did quote him in our video, but he says the full context exonerates him. It changes the story. We're trying to lead you astray. So I'm going to show you everything today so you can see for yourself. But first, I want to talk about this main thing that he seems to be saying, where this is all a troll, right? Where have we heard this before? Anytime you take someone seriously, it's all a big troll. Well, let's look at the comment section of Whistling Diesel. These are the people who know him best. They're saying, don't underestimate your subscriber base. They can make and definitely break you. One hell of a way to screw up your channel and destroy your reputation. Not watching this channel again. Now, did all these people miss the joke? All of you, this is not my selection of your comments. I mean, it's funny, in his Instagram post, he like selectively grabs a few screenshots where people with no likes are defending him, saying, if you're taking Whistling Diesel seriously, you're not that bright of a person. But on your comment section, not filtered, where it's all the top comments, people are saying Cody's doing a durability test of your career. So apparently everyone missed the joke. Nobody understood that this was a giant big laugh. This actually isn't even the first time it happened. Previously, he got in a fight with people because he called a Ferrari a, quote, normal car. You just think it's crazy because you're poor and have low standards. That's the bare minimum. And when people rightfully called him out for this insane out-of-touch take, instead, he once again kind of said, well, they're just not getting the joke.
This guy got offended that I called everyone poor. You know what? Cry me a river. Do you think if I walked up to Jeff Bezos and said, you're poor, would he get offended?
No, probably not.
Mr. Jeff is gonna laugh. Because Jeff Bezos knows he's not insecure. But yet, if I go up to a homeless person and call them poor, they still laugh because they know they're poor. They're not trying to, I'm not poor. They don't get all sensitive about it. But yet, if I call one overbite, greasy head, redneck with 5 missing teeth poor, they get all upset and cry to mommy.
And here's where we first see Whistling Diesel's special brand of comedy. Yes, he will use a Vine boom effect 5 times in a row.
Overbite, greasy head, redneck with 5 missing teeth poor.
But also, he will often say something kind of sincere after he makes this big joke.
Maybe that's because you know that you're not where you want to be in life, and you're mad about it.
So the over-the-top character serves something that he ostensibly believes. He really thinks if you don't like out-of-touch millionaires like him calling people poor, that must be just because you're a hater. You're not where you want to be in life. Not realizing that he has actually lucked out. He lucked into a very high-income job. And I can admit that because, hey, guess what? I'm a YouTuber as well. And yes, sure, we work hard, but at the same time, it's not as hard as like being a teacher, which gets paid way less. It's not as hard as being a cop, a firefighter, which get paid way less than a lot of YouTubers at the top end. So this idea that a Ferrari is a normal car and that everyone else who can't afford it must just have low standards, I think is just incredibly stupid. Now, just so I wouldn't get trolled again, I wanted to make sure that this sentiment he's expressing about Ferraris isn't secretly a 10,000 IQ comedy play, right? It's not some satirical thing that he doesn't actually believe. So we actually discussed it over text, and he said this. He says, a Ferrari is very attainable, and anyone that thinks they're unattainable should raise their standards and try harder in life. But it's not about cars. People stay impoverished because they think big things are unattainable and lower their goals. And so, yeah, when you press him on this thing he's joking about, it turns out he actually does believe it. He does believe people are impoverished just because they haven't set high enough goals. And you're gonna see something similar with this day trading thing. He's gonna claim that he went in there with an over-the-top attitude and it's just all a troll and we fell for it. But when you actually get to the heart of what the video's saying, the video is pushing Alex as this super great trader. Cody is just the foil to that as the uneducated guy, which is something we pointed out in our main video. I mean, we directly addressed it. And it's kind of a strange mix because Cody seems to not take this seriously at all, while Alex is very serious. So he's gonna claim we got trolled because he played this character, but when we ask him, actually, what do you believe? Does he ever say, oh no, it's just a joke. I don't actually think people should be day trading. I'm not actually trying to promote day trading gurus. No, he doesn't say that because I don't think that's what he believes. But we're gonna jump into it because, you know, we're gonna talk about the full context because actually what you're gonna find is that we Adam 22'd this guy, okay? If you remember Adam 22, we warned him not to do the scam and then he did it anyways. And then he later called us a grifter. And I'm like, wait, what? I tried to stop you. Well, that's kind of what I did with Cody Whistling Diesel, is when I first went to him, I was thinking, look, this is kind of an interesting video, but really I want to just tell him that the guy he promoted might be a fake guru, right? I just want to warn him because maybe he wasn't educated. So a lot of the conversation you're going to see is actually me just trying to plead with him to not continue spreading this misinformation to his audience, right? Not continue to do this. And that's what I was so surprised by, is now he's saying like, oh, this was all a big satire, but you never mentioned that in our conversation where I'm telling you, I'm warning you that if you didn't know, now you know, you've been warned. So let's talk about it here. This is the start of our conversation. This is, hey, this is CoffeeZilla trying to reach Whistling Diesel. I'm reaching out for comment about your recent YouTube video where you featured a Forex day trader who's selling courses. FXAlexG is his handle. Did you get paid to do that video or in some other way like access to his Bugattis? It's not your normal type of content and seems sponsored. He says, can I prove it to you? So I prove it. He says, Epic, as much as I'd love to say he paid me for the headlines, I actually wanted to see if I could make money day trading. Trying it for the new experiences and content, although it's hilarious how people are reacting to it. So there we see, he doesn't say, hey, this was a big joke. He doesn't say, oh, this was a big satire. He says, I wanted to see if I could make money day trading. And so he posts his screenshots with Alex, and here's the content idea that he comes up with. He says, I'm experimenting with different style videos where I basically try a new experience or buy something new to try it out. I thought a Cody invests all his money day trading a video would be cool, where I shadow you for like a day and we use 20K of my own money to see what we can do with it. Obviously, we don't want to actually lose money, but we could pretend to do all the worst moves like panic buy and sell based on no information, and you're just cringing, LMAO. Alex responds, I think that's a fire idea. We can make it lit. So this is where the whole argument that, hey, it's just a big troll, it's just a big satire. But at the core of the video, Cody's trying to actually learn something about day trading. He's trying to show people something real about day trading, which is why this whole thing of like, it's just a satirical joke doesn't really fly with me. I ask him directly, is it your statement that the whole video was a joke? And he responds, my statement is the same as from the beginning. I wanted to try day trading as a beginner, so I did and filmed the experience, lol. So when you actually press Cody on like, hey, why'd you do this? Was it a big joke? Was it a big satire? You actually get, no, it was a sincere try at day trading as a beginner. Yes, he played up this character, which we talked about in our video, but ultimately it was about him sincerely trying. Now that was later in our text thread. I just wanted to show that. I'm gonna go back up to the top and we're gonna continue from there. And in these screenshots you see, okay, sort of like, hey, if you're confident, I'll do like 100K. It'll be viral, I think. I have no clue what I'm doing. Oh, I'm confident AF. We just have to catch a good session, so we have to have a good time. So here's these extra screenshots here, literally just tell me with 1 day notice. This is Alex G, he's talking to. What if we did it this week? I'm down, let's do it. Anytime this week works. Okay, so then he responds to me, and I legit made 9K from 10K in 2 hours trading. Probably gonna make another video for people calling it scammy. So again, you know, he knows people think it's scammy that he did this. I said, thanks for the context. What broker did he or you use? And did you think it was weird that he asked you to blur stuff? Now, Cody responds, I don't even know what a broker is actually. All we blurred was his account balance. Now, I found this a little weird because like a broker is like the most important thing, and also how people fake trades in Forex. So at this point, and you can go watch my videos on Trader's Domain right now, which has been charged by the CFTC. You can go see my stuff on Omega Pro where there have been charges by the FBI. But, you know, I'm thinking at this point, maybe Cody just doesn't know, right? So I tell him, he's been accused, FXAlexG, multiple times of fake trades and faking stuff. He does technical analysis, which is a bit like astrology for finance. There's little evidence it works over long periods, and tons of evidence that 99% of traders lose. Forex is one of the most scammy markets in the world, and faking trades is the oldest trick in the book. Broker is who executes the trades. There are ways to rig trades in your favor. He responds, I see. I sat there and watched it all. Made 9K in 2 hours-ish, haha. I actually told him when to pull out my money and everything. And so you'll see, I continue to plead with this guy. And do you get the sense that I'm not actually trying to get him here? Like, I'm just trying to explain it to him. I say, I hear you, but I can't say without more info whether those trades were rigged, right? Because things are blurred. I don't know which broker they're using, but what I can say is that Forex is full of the biggest fraudsters in the world, and this guy checks a lot of the boxes. Now, later, obviously, we realize he's, you know, promoting this prop firm that he actually owns, which is insane. You know, he's telling minors that they can, you know, trade on their parents' accounts, which they're not allowed to do. He's telling people to VPN, right? But then I say, they want to use people like you to self-promote so viewers buy the course. He says, interesting, I didn't even know he had a course, lol. Everything I watched that day was legit, though. We didn't fake anything. Then he says, literally as you're texting me, my COO messages and says he caught an ex-employee charging 30, whatever. He's trying to give me another story. I'm not gonna bite. I say, yeah, that's the main way most of these gurus make money. Think about it logically. If you just have a proven system to make millions of dollars consistently, why would you give it to other people for $2,000 a pop? This is always the question I ask these people. It's like, it doesn't make sense to give away your edge. You could just start up a massive hedge fund if you really had the strategy, raise tons of capital and scale it to billions. Instead, all these guys do is get a MetaTrader account, get a bunch of flashy cars, sell a lifestyle, and teach basic technical analysis, promising young people to get them rich. The guy's motto is set and forget. It's the definition of a get-rich-quick scheme. Everyone knows there's no such thing as getting wealthy by setting and forgetting. I mean, again, you know, I can't believe he's coming at me going, you should have shown more screenshots. My guy, do you think that makes you look good? It's just me explaining, like, really methodically how the grift of these gurus work. And so I think it's funny, he's like, show more of our texts. Fine, we'll show all of them. It's just Cody being like, well, maybe I saw everything, even though I know nothing about day trading, according to him. I would know somehow if it was legit or not. So we have a long conversation. I will, again, link all of this below. A lot of this is, once again, me saying, look, there's a reason that people who have profitable strategies, they're just running hedge funds, right? Why would you give away your alpha? People don't understand that in finance, different strategies have a size limitation because at a certain level, you're affecting the market with the size of your trade. So as you size up, your alpha starts to diminish because you start to become more of the market. So the idea that if you were super successful, you would sell your trading ideas is insane. And I just explain it here. It's complicated, but TLDR, if you had success in the Forex market, the last thing you would do is give away your edge. And I explain to him, there's tons of people doing this. Then he gets to the whole I didn't promote him thing. I literally went day trading with him and made $9,000. He's factually skilled enough to make double my money in a few hours. And then we get back to Cody's beliefs about society and money. I truly believe society is so stupid that if I made a video about how to easily make $1 million, which is what I'm doing in the series, they still wouldn't take advantage of it because society is trained to avoid risk and not aim high. Again, that was the perfect chance to say, hey man, it was all a joke. Instead he goes, I'm showing people in this series how to easily make $1 million. That's what Cody says behind the scenes. Now, if this is part of the epic troll, if this is still part of the over-the-top brand, I guess I just don't get Cody's unique brand of comedy. Quote, hence why him giving away his edge probably isn't affecting his edge. The same reason I was scared to show people how to make good YouTube videos for years because I thought everyone would do it if they had information and there's only so many viewers in a niche. Nope, most people won't even try something because they're too lazy and don't want to take a risk. I said, you don't know the broker, but you're so confident it was a real and not simulated trade or fake trade. Did you check? How did you even get your money on the platform to place trades? Did you wire to him? And then I show him where he's saying that LQH Markets is a trusted broker. Athens Markets, that's his old broker, and it has really poor reviews. I show him that US people aren't even allowed on the platform, once again pointing out all the red flags in this guy. But he just responds, no, I just said I wanted to put up $9,000, but I profited, so I didn't have to pay him anything. And here's where we first learn that Cody did not actually put up the money, I guess, or is what it sounds like from his messages, which was an angle I didn't even get into my main video, but since we're, diving into the messages, let's just expose this. He claims that he went there with $9,000, but because they made money during the session, he didn't ever put the money in, right? It was just an account that I guess Alex already had set up. So it just was all even at the end of the day. But then he replies, I don't even know what this means. That's the whole reason I went day trading for video. I watched the trade happen in real time and I told him when to pull out my money. Actually, not his money because he didn't put it in. But he says, not sure how you could fake it though. And that last line is specifically part of what my video was about how you can use simulated trades to make it look like you have a real balance and place trades and you're not actually making any money. You're just using these simulated accounts. Now, again, we don't know what the case was there. There was so much blurred. There was so much that we don't know about what broker they were specifically using there. And the other part of my video was about how risky it is to try to flip an account like this, and I showed how, by their own admission, they nearly blew up the account once, and if you just continued the trade, they would have blown it up if they continued to leave their money in the markets. And that's really all there is to it. Those were all our messages, all the screenshots. And I have to ask you guys, do you guys think that makes Whistling Diesel look better, knowing that I tried to explain all this before I made my video? I tried to explain why his video was wrong behind the scenes. Like, if anything, I think the additional context makes him look worse. But we're gonna talk about all the follow-ups to all of this, because subsequently, me and Cody have been talking over text, and I've been trying to understand, like, his whole energy in all of this is pretty weird. I thought I was really fair to him, probably overly fair. And I said, you know, why are you saying that, okay, you're not the brightest bulb? I said, look, I'm happy to invite you on an interview or chat if you want. Did you know Alex was pushing a prop firm he secretly partially owned? And he said, because you took everything in the video seriously. I don't know what a prop firm is. I'm not a day trading expert. That's why I made the video. He asks where I'm located. I say, you made the video and did zero due diligence. You just YOLO'd 10K to show people who hate money how possible it is to make money and prove people are lazy. It's just a stupid idea. I said, look, I'll send the Zoom link. And I said, look, I'm not going to tell you where I live for obvious reasons. It's a safety issue. This is why I don't do in-person interviews or stuff like that for people I'm reporting on. But he doesn't like that. He likes the idea of speaking to me in person. He says my whole video is a weird or hypothetical, not including actual screenshots. And he says, although I'm not him and don't know and can't speak for him, I may be down for an interview, but only if it's in person. We get in a discussion of why we would do it in person instead of via a live stream. I explain I have safety concerns with that. He says, Tucker Carlson met with Vladimir Putin for an interview of proper journalism in person, but you're too scared to meet me? And like, this is something I get a lot. People try to like bait me into meeting them. And I've always had the same policy on this. There's literally no reason for me to meet any of these people in person. There's no extra questions that I can ask him in person that I can't ask him on a live stream. So that offer's still open. But Whistling Diesel has put on his Instagram now that he's thinking of challenging Coffee Chicken to a boxing match. So, yeah, it's just stupid. Like, none of this actually serves the point, the actual meat of the allegations. Instead, it's just distractions, which I guess is the point. And I also try to explain to him that it's funny he brought up Tucker Carlson, who did a puff piece about Russia, like going to the stores and being like, look how clean and awesome it is.
It's perfectly clean and orderly. Look at that. It's fresh too, so it's apparently pretty good.
And my point was, the reason he met him in person is because it was gonna be an easy to like non-confrontational interview. Had it been confrontational, he would have been very stupid to meet him in person for that interview. I mean, this is a guy who's had dissidents assassinated. So I think it's weird that he brought up like Putin as his example of like, if you're gonna interview him, you have to go in person to meet him for like a real interview. It's like, no, you don't. And I proceed to ask him a couple more questions. Were you surprised to find that Alex promotes his course to minors who aren't even allowed to trade? And then I ask him the question about Ferraris, where we've already read that answer. About the minors thing, he says, I don't know the implications of minors trading, but it sounds like an amazing idea to me. Not sure how it could hurt to learn something new. To which I respond, I say, you're a combination of arrogant and uneducated in a way that is deeply painful. He says, use it in the video. I say, I will be using it. He says, personal insults. That's the entire concept of my brand, bro. I said, not meant as an insult. I just mean your responses on Ferraris come off as uneducated and arrogant. He says, I'm sorry my opinion about the feasibility of owning a Ferrari offends me. It does not offend me. I just think it sends a bad message to your followers. And they don't even like it. Like, who likes your message? Your followers are telling you you're out of touch. And your response is they're just haters. I tell it to you, you're saying, oh, I'm sorry it offends you. It doesn't offend me. I just think you're wrong. He says, I guess my goals are just higher. The world is most definitely in a difficult position. Many people can barely afford to put food on the table. The easy of my current life shouldn't be offensive. It should be proof that people can dig themselves out of holes and achieve their dreams. Finding offense at that is the exact reason most people will never achieve their goals. And here, once again, no one's offended that Whistling Diesel is successful. Everyone's just annoyed that now that he's successful, he assumes that everyone else is lazy for not being equally successful. That's the annoying part. So yeah, I just wanted to make a quick follow-up to this video. He seems to think that me not reading every single screenshot somehow was this big gotcha. He thinks that I was afraid to show it, even though I linked it. But look, I'm happy to show you. Those are all our texts. And yeah, I'll link them below so you can read them for yourself. I think it makes him look much worse because I tried to address all of this with him beforehand in private. But yeah, I guess this is where we're at. I personally find Whistling Diesel out of touch. I think his new attitude about money is uneducated. I think it is arrogant, but I'm not offended by it. I just think he's wrong. You don't have low standards if you don't have a Ferrari. You're very unlikely to get rich day trading. These gurus trying to sell you courses, most of them are fake. And yeah, that's basically it.
Hey guys, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer here from Wearing Too Many Breathe Right strips. Today I want to talk about the ridiculousness of the kill switch in Dead by Daylight, how ineffective it is, why behavior is so hesitant to use it on clearly broken things, and I'm just going to continually rant because this patch is so bad that it needs so many rants about it. So for those who are unaware, this patch is extremely broken for many reasons. I've made several videos about it. A lot of content creators have gone over how ridiculously broken this patch is. It's one of the worst they've done in a very long time. So many things are broken. I know Alranican on Twitter has a depressing chain of like 70 tweets in a row showing proof and examples of all the things that are broken. But one of the biggest issues I want to talk about is Streetwise. Streetwise is so extremely broken right now. It is, by definition, game breaking. And it is just not being disabled, and no one knows why. No one's being punished for abusing it. It's a whole mess to talk about here. So, for those who don't know, Streetwise is currently bugged to allow you to have infinite charges to items like medkits and toolboxes. I think you can do it on flashlights too, but that's less impactful, really. But, you know, if you get, you know, a Commodio's toolbox or Engineer's toolbox or something like that, with Streetwise, you can... I'm not going to tell you how, but you can basically give yourself infinite charges. I mean, I might as well tell you how, because they're not banning for it anyway. They might as well just be encouraging at this point. So I'm not going to do it, but I'm so mad that they're not doing anything about it that I almost want to just say, fuck it, everyone abuse it until they see it. I'm not going to do that, but I want to. But yeah, if you abuse this, you can have infinite charges, and, you know, infinite charges of a toolbox. Suddenly, gens that take 90 seconds take 40 seconds to do. Obviously, this is a problem. I don't need to describe why this is a problem. It's just objectively completely busted. Infinite heals. One of the most broken things in recent memory. So, obviously, this needs to be disabled, fixed, or a punishable offense. Now, the interesting thing is, things like this in the past, before the kill switch, were absolutely bannable. But I understand why they have the mindset here of, well, because we have this kill switch, we don't ban people for stuff like this anymore because, you know, it's kind of on us. So, we need to disable it, but not penalize people for it. But the reason they're hesitant to ban people for exploiting things like this is because a lot of times you can't really prove someone's exploiting something, which is weird because they're inconsistent about that. Back a long time ago when Legion had a bug where you could stack mending add-ons and make your mend basically take forever, people did get banned for abusing that, but that is something you actually feasibly could accidentally do. You might just be a new Legion player and go, oh, these two add-ons seem good, slap them on, and not realizing how much you're benefiting from the actual add-on. So that is something they did ban for, but it was entirely possible that people could accidentally do this. This Streetwise bug, the method that you do it, you're not doing it by accident. You are very specifically trying to do this. And in fact, perks like Hoarder can literally rat people out when they're doing this. If you put on Bond and Survivor, you can see it. Again, I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but it's abundantly clear when someone is abusing this. There is no one is accidentally performing the steps required to exploit this issue. But behavior still won't penalize that, even though they've penalized for things that absolutely could be seen as mistakes. So, very mixed messaging. Granted, the Legion stuff was years ago, so maybe leadership has changed and they've changed their rulings. That's entirely possible, but definitely a history of inconsistency there. But the whole issue with the kill switch is it's devised to disable broken perks like this or broken whatever. It's anything that's, you know, a map is broken. For example, right now, the map of the game is disabled for whatever reason. So the kill switch is meant to be able to shut things off on a whim so they don't have to patch the game. It's not an update. They can just disable it from their side. They push it out to the servers, and now no one can interact with that thing. And it modifies, or it fixes the issue temporarily until they can permanently fix the bug. It's a great system. The problem is they just don't fucking use it 90% of the time. There is no reason Streetwise should not be kill switch now. There's not a single legitimate explanation as to why. And I've asked on Twitter, I've tried to see any possible explanation. There's absolutely just none. People saying, oh, it's the weekend. Maybe they weren't working on the weekend. Yeah, except they've known about this problem for over a week. Like, that's not really an excuse. And they might say, oh, well, it's not considered game-breaking enough. There are more pressing concerns, something like that, which would be even more concerning, because how could you not interpret infinite items as game-breaking? That actually might be even scarier if that's what they've rationalized to be the case. And look, there are a bunch of bugs with perks and stuff like that. You know, Last Stand right now is making people vault faster. I guarantee that's not an intended function of the perk. The problem was this was, again, reported on the PTB, and they just did nothing about it. They didn't even acknowledge it. So, like, there are plenty of things that I think are worthy of getting the kill switch, but none more so than Streetwise right now. Again, if you get a good toolbox for the rest of your game, your gens take 40 seconds instead of 90 seconds. And everyone can do this. I can't express how broken that is. So, next, I want to go over something. This is interesting, because I'm starting to concoct a tinfoil hat conspiracy theory here, that they know Streetwise is fucked up, but for some reason, they can't disable it. Let me just hear. I was browsing Twitter to see, you know, input on the bugs that have been happening. And to be fair, on Twitter, as I'll show you here, they've been very, very receptive to bug reports. Here's them talking about a giant thread of bugs. These are things that they know about. These are all some issues that they know about. And to their credit, a lot of people responded and talked about bugs. Here's a bug. Here's a response. Bug response. Bug response. Bug response. Bug response. Bug response. Bug response. Like, all of these are reported bugs and reported responses under review. Bug response. 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 Everything has been reported. And then the first time, are you going to kill switch Streetwise until hotfix? Nothing. No response. They responded to 72 completely minor, irrelevant bugs for the most part. This cosmetic isn't working properly. But then an actual report of a completely game-breaking bug, and there's no response. I found that suspicious, considering a day before this, on the forums last week on a Wednesday, this has already been reported. Not only has it been reported, it has been reported and accepted by the developer team, and it's considered under review. So they do know about it. They just won't acknowledge it for some reason. They won't acknowledge that it's a bannable offense. They won't acknowledge it with a kill switch. They won't publicly acknowledge it. They are just like pretending it doesn't exist. I even waited to make this video until Monday to give them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe, okay, they reported on Wednesday, but they didn't, for some reason, see it until Friday, and then they had the weekend, and then they had time off, whatever, fine. So I waited till Monday just to be sure, and, you know, it's 11:30 right now, and they still haven't said anything about it. So I'm willing to bet just nothing has happened. Hopefully I get proven wrong, and they do actually kill switch this, and that would be wonderful, and I'm happy to just have this video be out of date and inaccurate. That would be great. But it does point to a very consistent trend with the game's history, where there will be extremely broken things and they won't use this amazing feature that they made. It doesn't make any sense that they would devise such a good feature and then never use it. It's not even like it's like a limitation of licensing. It's like, oh, it's the Walking Dead perk or something like that. We can't disable it because the license holders are going to be mad that a new thing that we just released is disabled, even though they've also done that before too. Because it's just not even related. It's just Streetwise. It's just a perk that's been in the game since Nia. It is so old at this point. There's just no justifiable reason to have this shit still exist. So, summary of my thoughts. What is the point of this kill switch when we don't kill switch things that are extremely broken and can very easily be disabled? I am curious to hear what possible reasons there are for this. I really hope it's not just sheer incompetence, because it's looking likely that that's what it is lately with this latest patch. Because, again, we have proof that they knew about it. They won't respond to it publicly. And I got nothing. I have no theories. None of this makes any sense. It's incredibly frustrating. One of 70 reasons I have been just not playing DBD lately. I've just been playing through some Resident Evil games and just kind of chilling because I just need to take a step back for my own sanity. But yeah, one of the many reasons I'm frustrated right now, and hopefully we can get an explanation and possibly an actual fix or kill switch for this before, I don't know, everyone starts using it, I guess. That's it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
This YouTuber tried proving people are lazy by turning $10,000 into $1 million, but he accidentally ended up embarrassing himself instead and promoted a guru who we're going to be exposing today.
We could be doing hard labor, but instead the idea is mentality, success, and money.
The YouTuber is Whistling Diesel. He has 10 million subscribers, and his name is Cody. His channel's motto, never ever clickbait ever. So you can imagine I'm pretty excited about this video because look at that title. He's gonna prove people are lazy with a series showing people that hate money how truly possible it is to make money. Let's dive in and find out from the guy who never clickbaits how exactly that's gonna work.
Alex is one of the world's top leading day traders. We're gonna turn $10,000 into $1 million in one day.
Oh, well actually that seems pretty lazy to make $1 million in one day instead of being patient, but it also turns out to be clickbait because of course they don't make $1 million. But the setup is pretty simple. Cody Whistling Diesel plays this jokester who doesn't know anything, and then we have Alex. He's presented as our guru, one of the top day traders of the world.
Alex is the world's expert trader, world's top leading day traders.
And it's kind of a strange mix because Cody seems to not take this seriously at all, while Alex is very serious.
We're betting that the Japanese yen is going to get weaker and the New Zealand dollar is going to get stronger. The first thing you want to do when you come into the market, you want to find out of all the markets which one have the highest probability of going in one direction versus the other.
You know, it was somewhere in the middle of this very simple Forex explanation that I realized, oh, these guys are selling something, or at least Alex is. He's an expert who sells a course for $1,500 to teach people trading, which makes all of this pretty weird. But then Alex makes a pretty interesting admission about the whole experiment.
I was actually interested in taking this trade before you pulled up. You would have lost your full 10 grand right there.
Really?
Yeah, all of it.
Really? So we're gonna cut and we're gonna come back in 2 hours when this trade is 5 times the value. He's gonna let me borrow the Porsche and we're gonna have fun for a little bit while we're letting our money stack. We could be doing hard labor, but instead the idea is mentality, success, and money.
So in a quest to prove people hate money and are lazy, Cody shows up, nearly loses everything, makes one trade, and then takes a 2-hour break to drive supercars. Wasn't this whole video about hard labor and why people are lazy? Now it's about supercars and letting your money stack? Let's be honest, you need something before you can let your money stack. You need money. This is all starting to feel like an advertisement for Alex the Forex Guru. After all, Whistling Diesel is not a financial YouTuber. He knows nothing about that stuff. He makes car videos, but suddenly is spending 15 minutes learning about Forex. But just when I started to agree with the comment section, I got the video's real sponsor.
Which brings us to our ad break while we're making revenue. A personal data protection system.
Yeah, apparently, that's the ad.
Take at least 3 cents.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be 100% honest. It's actually a lot better than I thought.
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was gonna taste like.
Okay, we're gonna skip this ad too.
So here's something interesting about Incognito.
A reviewer from Business Insider shared their first-hand experience.
Okay, never mind. That's still the ad. Let's skip that too and get back to what we only think might be an ad.
Where are we at?
So we were up probably.
We're at 89,000.
No, 90,000 now.
We're at 90. Oh, we're at 90.
No, but we were. I saw it on the phone.
91, 92. So should we pull out at 100?
No, this is gonna go more than 100 for sure.
Really?
Yeah, this is probably gonna be like 400 grand. No, for sure, 100%. But it's gonna take 2 to 3 days to get there.
All right. So we missed a lot while driving supercars and doing 2 ads. We now learn we're in the money, and in 2 days, we'll have $400,000. But Whistling Diesel doesn't want to wait that long. Instead, he closes his trade for $9,000 in profit. But I started to wonder, what if they had held on to this trade? Because even Cody wondered how his day trader guru friend could just know it was going to go up so high.
I don't know, you could wait it out or...
How do you know?
I mean, I just know, bro. I don't know how to explain it.
How do you know? What does he know?
Yeah, what does he know? I wondered the same thing, so I whipped up a Forex simulation of almost the same exact trade, but I kept my money in this time for a few days. And the question is, did I make $400,000? No, I did not. I basically lost everything in my simulated account. Because it turns out doubling your money is actually very risky. No matter how much someone says they just know the trade is going to go up, they really don't. Now, I reached out to Whistling Diesel and asked him point blank if this entire video was an ad, but he insisted it wasn't. According to him, he was paid nothing except his profits. Alex, for his part, said the exact same thing, although he did admit that he has paid influencers in the past to collaborate, like Steve Will Do It. He also got Aiden Ross to give him an interview in exchange for using his Bugatti.
It's never too late to try something new. You know, you have college, you have 9 to 5s, they're always around, they're always there. They're not going anywhere. People need workers. Just try something new. Try flipping the switch here. Try do something that you believe in yourself with.
So, yeah, apparently those two got something out of it. Supposedly Whistling Diesel did not. If you even assume that's true, I still think it's worth digging into who this Alex guy is. And the question is it actually a good idea to give someone like this your money or to spend your money Forex day trading? Is it the secret to untold wealth? And how did Alex really get his Bugatti money? Well, of course, I asked, and Alex told me he made $7.5 million in the last 4 years from selling courses, actually. Teaching people how to trade, which is insane. Now, Alex claims that some of his money comes from day trading, but I never learned exactly how much. He said it ranges, but there's a famous lesson. There's more money to make selling shovels in a gold rush than mining for gold. Alex's website even says, I am a miner, can I do it? And the answer is yes, for $1,500. Although later I learned that actually he meant miner as in like underage person who actually aren't allowed to trade Forex. You have to be 18. But Alex's website says that you can just trade with a real account in the name of a family member of legal age, which is, again, not allowed. To make matters worse, Alex has also been accused of faking trades online and using simulated accounts instead of real money. Simulated just means essentially you're using Monopoly money. It's what I did a second ago to test out that trade. But Alex denies this. He says he doesn't fake trades. The only problem I find with this is that there's a disclaimer in Alex's own videos called CFTC 441, which is a reference to a special regulation where you have to disclose if you're using a simulated account. Here's the CFTC guidelines. It matches up with what Alex's videos and website say. And this makes me think at least some of Alex's trades are not real money, despite him claiming to be such a profitable trader. Now, Alex would later tell me this is a very catch-all disclaimer commonly used in the industry. But that could be because this industry is full of a lot of people faking trading records. Now, I did try to explain this to Cody, the guy pushing this great trader, world's best trader.
World's top leading day traders.
And I said, maybe this guy's not all you think he is. But Cody defended himself saying, I didn't promote him. I literally went day trading with him and made $9,000. Haha. He's factually skilled enough to double my money in a few hours, which I guess is true, but he's also skilled enough to make you almost lose everything twice.
I was gonna just like dump all my money into it, like in one day.
You wouldn't. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, you could, but you're gonna lose it all. 100%.
Oh, really?
I was actually interested in taking this trade before you pulled up. You would have lost your full 10 grand right there.
Really?
Yeah, all of it.
And this just shows Cody's arrogance here. He's so uneducated on Forex, but also so confident about it. He was moments away from losing everything, but he doesn't seem to know it or care. I asked him which broker they ended up using, and he said he doesn't even know what a broker is. That's another big problem because a big part of Forex scams are sketchy offshore brokerages where you don't know if it's real or fake money, and they can take your money and run. Now, I went to Alex's website because I was curious, and Alex recommends a broker called LQH Markets, which he calls trusted. But I would beg to differ because this brokerage is located in Camaros, which you can't locate on a map. I forbid you from depositing money there. It is also offshore, and it has no CEO listed, meaning we don't even know who owns it. It's also banned from accepting U.S. investors. But of course, the same guy who says minors can impersonate family members has no problem getting us around that too.
This is the kind of the L for some people, which is no U.S. clients. I'm sure you guys can figure out a way how to do it. Get a VPN and do it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking stuff. Just VPN to a trusted broker. Apparently, Alex's whole community trades there. That's how trusted this brokerage is.
I believe that there is a trusted broker. This is the current broker that I use right now, which is LQH Markets. Been using it for a very long time. My whole entire community uses it. This is the trusted one that I recommend.
After hearing all of this, I just wanted to know, surely Alex knows who's behind this trusted broker. So I asked, who is the owner of LQH Markets? Are you a part owner? And he told me, quote, I'm not sure who is. There are many affiliate broker companies that do outreach on behalf of platforms to give the best deals, and no, I'm not. So apparently his whole community is sending money offshore. He calls it trusted, but he doesn't know who owns it. It's shocking stuff, but even if you thought that was bad, it actually gets worse because the last company Alex promoted was a different one. It was called Rocket 21.
Join the Rocket 21 Discord, the Rocket team, how legit Rocket is. Rocket 21 Challenge, Rocket 21 Instagram, take your Rocket 21 Challenge. I only and will forever recommend Rocket 21.
That's right. Alex used to promote a website which was a place you could get funded as a trader. These are called prop firms, and in the Forex industry, they're mostly huge scams. How it works is they issue challenges to traders who pay for it with the promise that if they are profitable enough, they will get bigger and bigger accounts that they can trade with, and then they will receive a split of the profit that they make with these trades. Which all sounds fair, except these companies are not actually trading anything. They do not use real money accounts. They give their traders fake, simulated trading accounts, which means that when these companies lose money because their customers win, they pay them out of pocket. And vice versa, they make money when traders lose, which is strange when you think about it, because Alex's whole thing is to teach people how to trade successfully. But he's also promoting a website which succeeds the more his students fail. Maybe it's no surprise many of his fans now call this website a scam. And although many of them believe Alex was simply a promoter of the website, I have bad news for them. Alex admitted to me that he was also a partial owner of Rocket 21, although he says he's no longer a part. But just imagine the conflict of interest here. You are purporting to teach people how to successfully trade, and you co-own something that makes more money the more people unsuccessfully trade. Talk about a conflict of interest. It's also interesting to note that Alex at various points traded from a Rocket 21 account, saying he had $1 million account. But now that we know he was a co-owner of this company, and also that these were simulated funds, what are we even watching? A guy playing with Monopoly money?
We're about to take this trade together on my $1 million account right now that I currently have from Rocket. So this is my $1 million account from Rocket. So we're literally gonna take this trade together.
Like, I hope you guys see what a nasty business this is. And unfortunately, it's not just Alex. There are many Forex gurus doing the same thing, pushing these prop firms.
What is a reputable, unlimited trading day that I know will pay me out? Check out Smart Funded Trader. Link is in the bio.
If you guys want to check out the Leveled Up Society or the Day Trading Institution, you can also find that down in the description as well.
TFT continues to grow. People are getting paid, and people are telling their friends, and people are making money, and they're sharing that TFT is reliable, and that's why TFT is growing.
And unfortunately, even if you do win and you make a bunch of money, many of these companies will ban your accounts or delay your withdrawals. That is something Alex is even aware of, which is why he addresses it head on in his promotional videos by doing a car giveaway.
There's a lot of talks about there about, a lot of these firms not paying people out, being super sketch. A lot of new firms pop up like every week. All these influencers, they just make their own firms. And I was talking to the team, to the Rocket team, and we're like, dude, if we give away a Lambo, we pretty much cash out $250,000 and we just hand it to somebody. This is to show proof that Rocket's gonna have no issue paying you out. There's literally no issue.
Yeah, guys, no issues. The proof is in the Lamborghini giveaway. Now, I happened to grab the last 5 reviews of this company on Trustpilot, and all of them are 1 star, reporting that there are delays or they are not getting paid from Alex's former company, which is obviously bad. But of course, Alex isn't the only one. He's just the one on the biggest platform at the moment. The Forex industry is full of scams, fakes, and frauds, and you should be careful when anyone makes earning lots of money seem easy. Despite what Whistling Diesel would have you believe, it's much harder to make $1 million than you think, and much easier to lose what money you do have. Ironically, Cody would know that if he had done a bit more due diligence and not been so lazy. I investigated Mr. Beast, who was recently accused of making $23 million with insider trading and scams. I wanted to know the full story, so I reached out to everyone, from researchers to crypto projects, even to Mr. Beast himself. And let me say, the story is more complicated than you think. I want to be clear. What Mr. Beast did, what his team did, is shady. But what we care about is, did he cross that bright red line from shady to illegal scam? And contrary to what Twitter says, I don't think that's an easy answer. Instead, I think the answer will depend on you. If you love Mr. Beast, there will be an explanation at every turn and a scapegoat. But if you hate Mr. Beast, what I'm about to show you will seem unethical and like a clear abuse of fame for money. So already, this story is difficult, but I want to make you aware of two more things which matter. First, I have gone to Mr. Beast's team to try to fact check this story extensively, and they declined to fact check or comment on my many questions. Instead, they gave me a statement which we will get to. Secondly, I have a bit of history with Mr. Beast. I interviewed and spoke positively about him in the past, but also his new co-founder is suing me, and his other co-founder threatened to sue me. So you can make of that what you will. As always, I just want to let you know where I'm coming from, and I've tried to get all sides of the story. We're going to start with the major allegations against Mr. Beast and build on those. They come from two sources. Firstly, an investigation by Soma XBT, which claims Mr. Beast made $10 million by backing low-cap crypto tokens, which are down 90%. And the second investigation comes from a group of 5 people who investigated Mr. Beast and found $23 million in profits from, quote, scams, shady deals, and his network. Now, there are a lot of crypto projects they go over, and I want to be clear. Some of these allegations I agree are bad. Others I think are actually worse than have been reported, and still other allegations I simply disagree with them on. So we're going to start with what I don't agree with. According to the report, Polychain Monsters, or PMON, is a project which KSI promoted heavily. Mr. Beast did not. But Mr. Beast did get in the pre-sale and make a lot of money. And thus, the conclusion is made, it's highly likely Mr. Beast made an investment from that insider information of KSI's promotional deal. But there's simply no evidence provided of this. I have the same thoughts about JigStack, another coin which KSI promoted, and the conclusion is, though Mr. Beast did not officially follow JigStack, in his network, KSI was involved in promoting JigStack from this information Mr. Beast invested and made a large return. Here, again, there isn't concrete proof. Now, I asked the team who wrote this piece, the lead author, Casper Vandeluk, told me, quote, having known Mr. Beast having a very strong connection with KSI, it's basically highly probable he was vested as a result of KSI.
Oh, is that
no
the
concrete evidence, just going off probabilities. But I'm going to say I don't agree with that, and I'm going to toss those probabilities aside. I think they reach too far. Instead, I'm going to stick with what we can prove happened. Luckily, the biggest claims in this report...
Yeah, right. You can see how much bigger it is than the main monitor. Like I said, it's not small,
starting with Super,
not massive.
The project Mr. Beast is alleged to have made the most amount of money
I'd assume it's like mid-50s.
Of $100,000.
Mid upper 50s,
evidence, we have
maybe.
leaked screenshots showing Mr. Beast.
Right, my monitor is 32, and you can.
Then we have a wallet that both
and it's ultra wide. You can see how much bigger it is than the main monitor.
The pre-sale wallet, and then we have the same wallets getting millions of these super tokens in a period of unlocks, which were almost all sold aggressively. Now, why is this bad? Well, Mr. Beast is obviously hugely influential, and he publicly associated himself with the project twice. Once on March 3rd, 2021.
Played a little bit of that
and then he interacted a
Dragon
second
Wild
time on
game.
May 12th, 2021. This is much worse.
Yeah.
The founder, Elio Trades, had tweeted,
Played
there's
it
a
with
gem
mods.
sitting there on the market at eye-watering prices, set to explode during the DeFi Summer 2.0.
I sent you a
Mr. Beast's
picture.
response.
That's how it
Super.
overlaps
But
on
what
my
he doesn't say is that he already purchased a huge stake in Super at this point.
Because there's
and
no
on
more
the
room
day
on my
that he's
desk.
tweeting,
I can't
he
go
was
any more
selling
farther
tokens,
that way.
allegedly. Not only that, he had been selling tokens and
Are you
continued to sell
multi-boxing
tokens. In the
RuneScape? You have
72
two
hours
games
after
of
the May 12th
RuneScape.
tweet, Mr. Beast sold about $200,000 worth of these tokens.
You're fucked.
And remember the context. He's responding to the founder of the coin discussing a gem at eye-watering prices that's going to explode during the summer. And
Right,
Mr.
when I
Beast's
play,
response
I've got
is the coin he's
two
selling.
that I'm
So
playing
publicly,
right now.
it's signaling, hey, Super is this
killing hill
undervalued
giants.
coin, and privately,
And then my one that's
Mr. Beast
fishing, right?
allegedly
I have that
sold.
one that's
now,
fishing
I
all
ran
the
these wallets
time.
by Mr. Beast, as well as the
Let's tab out of
accusation,
the
but
game, tell
I
it to
didn't
go
get a
fish
reply.
somewhere,
Instead,
right?
I got a
Fishing
heavily lawyered statement
very AF.
from a spokesman, who I'm going to warn you is about to complicate things. Quote, these investments were made and managed
I've
in
made a stupid
consultation
amount of
with
money
industry
just
experts
AFK
to
fishing.
ensure full compliance with all appropriate rules and regulations. The wallet is not owned or managed by Jimmy, but rather a fund led by respected and sophisticated managers. The fund closely evaluated and scrutinized hundreds and hundreds of opportunities, which resulted in several investments. Some have been more successful, others less, and others still works in progress. The fund's investment strategies apply the same rigorous standards as many other experienced investors in the field. Now, I have a lot of questions, but the big thing is Jimmy denies doing any of the trading.
There's no
or managing the
dedicated
trading and blames
servers
it on
for
a fund.
RuneScape.
So I asked some obvious follow-up questions. What is the name of this fund?
You
Who are
could
the industry experts?
you could
What
pay
rules and
for a
regulations
dedicated
were
server,
followed
but you are not
that
allowed to
allowed
host
you
them
tweet
yourself.
Bitcoin while your fund is selling. I didn't get a response. It's worth mentioning the spokesman is Matthew Hilton,
Well,
a
I
well-known crisis management
I
consultant.
would just give you all
Thankfully,
the mods that I have, and then
online,
we
there
join in a
still are a
game
number
together.
of clues we can follow to try to find the right person for this fund. The reason most people link Mr. Beast to this wallet we've been tracking is mostly based on a tweet by Mr. Beast saying he bought a specific crypto punk, which belonged to an
It
account
still had
that
my
goes by
character
Wu-Tang
from our
Clan.
other game, and
People
I had some
assumed,
shit in my
understandably, that this
inventory,
was
but
Mr. Beast's
I just started
wallet.
a new
But
world.
what is lesser known is that another account has also tweeted about CryptoPunks and has the same ties back to Wu-Tang Clan. A guy named Jason Williams. He's followed by Mr. Beast on Twitter, and he's the author of a book on Bitcoin, so he's a crypto guy. And I found Jason tweeting about another CryptoPunk saying, I hope you enjoy your new home, sold for 100 ETH. That sale he's talking about links back to the same address Mr. Beast does, Wu-Tang Clan. On YouTube, there's even more clues. Jason can be seen surfing wearing a Wu-Tang Clan shirt, and his brand name, Going Parabolic, happens to be owned by the same Mr. Beast wallet.
Did you get no dragon
Parabolic.eth.
attacks?
So there's very good evidence that
I
Jason
didn't
Williams
see
was
anything
also
for that.
involved in this same
There's
wallet, which means that it might
there's
be
so
true
much shit
that
we
Mr.
get.
Beast wasn't the guy buying or
I
selling,
don't know.
which would be
If
good for
there,
Mr.
I'd
Beast
assume
and
there's
bad for
something
his
we could build to
investigation.
stop it. I didn't see anything for
Just
stopping
when I
dragon
thought Mr.
attacks.
Beast might have no say in what this wallet did, I saw this
Go
podcast
get that
with
and
Logan Paul,
install
where
it
Jimmy
directly
discusses
into the
CryptoPunks once again, and things get complicated.
I also,
install
so me and
folder
Logan
of the
both
game.
bought punks. You guys have probably seen on his Twitter that he bought a bunch of CryptoPunks at the same time, right?
Yep.
Gary pulled us
Yep.
in that call.
Yep.
So have you ever told that story?
No.
Gary V, it's like 11 p.m. just out of nowhere, just calls me and he's like, "Yo, I got like 30 people to call. Hop in." I'm like, I don't care. He's like, "It'll be the best decision of your life. Just get in." I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay."
Yeah.
And so I just joined the call. And I just see like Logan and I don't even know these other people. I don't
Yo.
want to put them on blast.
Every heavy hitter you can imagine who's
Exactly.
worth $1 billion was on this one call, and Gary V is in the little corner, the little
Yeah.
square. He's going, CryptoPunks. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be the next Facebook. We're all of us. We're like, okay,
Everyone's
Gary.
judging. I'm texting
Okay,
Logan.
and
I'm
then
like,
that
"This
is going to
nuts."
go
Bro, all of us are like, yo, Gary's nuts.
after you've extracted that other thing.
A bunch.
That's going to go
Yeah,
into the game.
I don't want to say it, but
You have to
No,
say-
please.
Hold on, let me get back to it.
Yeah.
Well, bro, are you in double digits, punks?
Just shy.
Into the game.
Well,
into the
this clip is
game name
very
again.
interesting
RS Dragon
because
Wilds.
Jimmy said he made the
Content.
decision to get CryptoPunks based on
packs.
a call with Gary V.
And
But
inside
those
there
funds
is
are
a
owned by the
mods
wallet
folder. You're
we
gonna
just
put all
said was
those mods
controlled
in
by
there.
Jason. So it appears sometimes Mr. Beast is telling Jason what to buy for this fund. Mr. Beast then later talks about selling these CryptoPunks and rolling the money into a new project. And once again, it sounds like he's in charge.
Well, I've already sold quite a few of them, so I don't.
What?
The
Dude, he's
minutes
on to the
are
next
expensive.
thing.
I bought a bunch of, so then I rolled the money into V Friends because Gary, same thing, called me. He's like, V Friends. I was like, I don't know, but last time I made money, sure.
I'll be honest, these clips to me make it difficult to assume Mr. Beast had no idea
Shouldn't
what's
I
going
just
on.
install
He
this
talks
on
about CryptoPunks
Vortex
and
and
V Friends
easier?
like personal investments. And on Twitter, he says that not only
I never have get Vortex to worry. If you want to do that shit, go for it. I told you how to install them.
I have to say,
fucking
it's
simple.
also abundantly clear Jason Williams
Just extract the fucking the
"Hey, Gary,
framework.
thanks
The
for
first thing I gave you a
friends
link
gift
to
go. It was
the
a
game
gift
and go
from
and put the
Gary
mods
to
in the
Mr.
mods
Beast. I'm
folder.
very
That's
thankful
all
for
you
it.
gotta do.
He didn't have to send anything. So once
It's
again,
not
Jason
difficult.
Williams appears to be involved and have something to do with the trading or management of Mr. Beast's crypto wallet, but we know Mr. Beast made some of the decisions. So of course, I asked Mr. Beast to explain himself if he had any say over the trading, but once again, there's no response. So now I want to turn back to Super. We know from leaked DMs that Mr. Beast and not Jason set up this pre-sale, and we know that Mr. Beast made the tweet.
Right into
So
the
now
RS
we have to
Dragon
guess.
mods file
Here's what we know.
Folder.
We know Mr. Beast.
Yes, in the
set up
direct
pre-sale,
the
according to
directory of the
screenshots.
game,
We
the
know
base directory
Mr.
of the
Beast
game.
made the tweet.
That's where you
but
put
we don't know whether it was Jason
framework.
doing the trading of Super, or if he was doing the trading, did Mr. Beast know about it? Did Jason know about the tweet? These are the questions that ultimately matter, and yes, I reached out to Jason Williams for a comment. He didn't reply. I did, however, get a hold of Elio Trades, who is the founder of Super, and he insisted that Mr. Beast's tweet was not a part of a deal for promotion. But you should know, he also mentions how upset he was with how pre-sale investors sold their tokens, saying most of them sold, including Mr. Beast. So those are the facts. Mr. Beast gets involved in a pre-sale, for some reason tweets at this project twice, one time on the day his fund is selling tokens, where he seems to imply that they're undervalued. In total, he's alleged to have made $11 million with this deal, according to the report. So yeah, that's really bad. Now we're going to turn to another allegation, which is about Earn, or Eternity.
Not in. So there's
There are
two
some facets
files.
that are the
There's
same, but
RS
there are
Dragon
others that are different.
Wilds.
For example,
Then there's another
instead
RS
of
Dragon
Mr.
Wilds
Beast
folder,
setting
and
up
then
the
there's
deal
an
directly,
engine folder.
the team at Earn
The
claims
RS Dragon Wilds
they never
one
spoke
has
to Mr.
RS
Beast.
Dragon
Quote,
Wilds
we were
and
speaking
I
engine.
told
to
you,
the fund manager, and when I asked about
the
these
base,
wallets
The
selling
framework that I
allegedly
gave
over
you
$4
the
million
link
in
for,
tokens,
you
they
just
say,
extract
quote, "Mr.
right
Beast's
into the
fund
main
was an
directory
early
of the game.
investor in our
It's-
pre-sale.
If you
He
click
had the
in
same
browse
unlock schedule as
location
everyone
on
else.
Steam,
Were
it's
we
that
happy
very
with the
first
way he
folder
sold?
that opens up.
Definitely not.
You extract
But
it
legally,
there.
there was nothing we could have done.
Okay.
And then, just like with Super, they claim they didn't ask for a promotion of the project.
Okay, kitten,
But
stop.
that Mr. Beast decided to comment
Please.
once himself anyways. On March 9th, 2021, Mr. Beast responds to Eternity Chain saying, "This one will be hyped." It's worth noting, once again, about 24 hours before saying this, this fund wallet purchased over $100,000 of Earn tokens in addition to the presale. Now, what is different about Super is that Mr. Beast's name was put publicly on the Eternity Chain.
You know where to
website.
put the
On
mods.
their investors and partners page, you
Oh,
might be
one
asking,
second.
well,
I'm
which is
figuring
it?
this
Is he
out
an investor
first.
or a partner? And the answer is both. He got into the presale.
Yeah, this is the
and
right
the Earn
folder,
team
okay.
also claims that he partnered
It's
with
just
them
it doesn't
for
show
an NFT
everything.
drop. Supposedly,
I can't
it
believe
was a
Windows
charity drop
can extract
and a
files
normal
now.
NFT drop. Now, the charity drop specifically
There, it
did
just
happen
extracted.
in association
Okay,
with
then
one of
mods.
Mr. Beast's projects, Team C's, saying, quote, "All proceeds will
Did
go
that,
to cleaning up the C's around the
did
world."
that
This was early
end
November
that
2021.
UESS
Then the official Team C's account posted
UE4SS
on November
give me a
3rd,
mods folder
2021,
now?
quote, "What an awesome
Yes, it
crypto
will be
collaboration
in its
in
spot.
support
That's
of
what I
the
said.
team."
You know where to
Then
go
the
for the
CEO
mods
of Eternity
now.
Chain, Nick Rose, confirms in Telegram that the drop is supported by Mr. Beast, saying
I don't know.
Earn
No, I
and
don't.
ETH
Yeah, I
tokens will
told
be
you
accepted for the
before.
charity auction, which
Go,
was slated to last
right? If
2
you're
months.
in the
Now,
base
the reason
of
I'm
the
sharing
game
all
right now.
this
Sorry,
is
I got
one
one
month
one
into
second,
this
Wrath. I gotta
2-month
fucking
charity
get rid of
auction
this
on
cat
November
because he's
30th,
climbing all over
2021,
everything.
The Rocket Fund or Beast Fund or
Little
whatever you want to
kitten,
call it
little
starts
demon.
selling huge amounts of this Earn token. Allegedly, they sold over $2 million, while the
What did he
charity
press?
itself
My
was
screen is
still
all
going
fucked.
on. Now, I know
There we go.
that sounds horrible. It looks horrible. It is horrible. Although I have to tell you, personally, I
Okay.
don't think
Where do I
this was
put
a
them?
master plan to pump a coin
Okay,
with
so
a charity
you're in the
auction.
base of the
If
game.
it
You
was
go
the plan,
into
it
RS
was a bad
Dragon
one
Wilds.
because the NFT auction was ultimately
Content.
a flop. But
Tax.
do I
And
also
inside there is a
think
mods
it doesn't
folder.
matter because regardless
I
of
don't
your
see a
intention of
mods
selling
folder. I
tokens,
just see dot.
within a
a
month
bunch
of
dot
your
packs.
2-month charity
Then
auction
create
is
a
wrong, stupid,
mods
and unethical.
folder and put
Yes,
all
yes,
of those
I
mods
think
in
that as
that
well.
folder.
Because in case you
Just
forgot,
MOPS.
Mr. Beast
Yeah.
is
No capital.
the charity guy whose name is on the website. It isn't a fund, fund. It isn't a crypto rocket fund. It's Mr. Beast's branding. I even asked the Earn team about this, saying, quote, why did y'all list Mr. Beast instead of Rocket Fund in your partners' investors? Was that discussed? They say, quote, we listed him, Mr. Beast, as a partner, and quote, yes, they accepted that. So according to the Earn team, Mr. Beast knew or should have known
If I drag and
his
drop
name was on the line for this investment
out of a
partnership.
compressed
And
folder,
yet,
does it
this
automatically
his fund,
extract
whatever you want
it?
to call it, sold tokens 1
I don't
month
know.
after starting a 2-month NFT auction for charity. To be fair again, though, it's
Just
hard to oversell how
select the
bad
RAR
this NFT
file
auction
and
did. I have found only one
right-click
NFT
it and
that appears
extract
to
into
have
the
sold
mods.
here,
Why would you
but
drag
the
it?
bids
Why
were
would you
made
even
in the Earn
open the
token,
RAR?
which the fund was selling, and the actual sale of the NFT didn't happen until after the fund sold in November 30th. The transfer happened in December 23rd. So of course, I went to Mr. Beast directly to answer this. And
So I
see if
just
there was
put the
some
whole
more context they could
folder
provide.
into the mods
There
folder.
was
As
no
I said,
response
just
other than
that
the statement
the
we
mods I
already
sent
read
you, right? You
from
just
Mr. Beast
extract
that
that
he did not
extract
control
that
the
whole
trading.
RAR
Although
into
again,
the mods folder.
that isn't a really satisfying answer because we've established Mr. Beast would sometimes direct what to buy and sell to this fund, like CryptoPunks. Personally, like I said, I don't think this was a pre-planned scheme. But regardless of intentions, if you're the charity guy, you support a charity, it flops while your fund makes millions of dollars in profits because it's selling the same Earn token people could bid on the charity with, that just is awful. And you should feel awful about it. Look, now I want to move on from that to talking about our final token, XCAT.
All right, I'm done.
This is a token you
I
may
got it.
remember from our investigation into Mr. Beast's business partner, KSI. But unlike KSI, Mr. Beast was
What?
not promoting it a lot on Twitter. In fact,
You already
the
got rolled
only
started.
reason we know Mr. Beast was in the presale is that there were several articles about it bragging about that fact. Once again, Mr. Beast's name was used to promote this instead of the fund itself. And internally to investors, I have to say, this built up a lot of excitement, not just because Mr. Beast is a huge name, but because XCAT had what's called creator tokens. So the idea to some investors is that, well, if they're investing Mr. Beast and KSI, what if they were ever to launch creator tokens? That would be